Welcome to Let's Talk About It.
If you looked at my life, you see what I see. Pitfalls, brick walls, all of this in front of me. Strain on my brain from the pain that's up under me. Strange days, but I can't change what becomes of me. Trials and tribulations, I was raised in segregation. Not from colors, but from neighborhood and gang affiliations. This what I was facing, coming up in revelations. By the age of 14, introduced me to the banging. Stranger was my homeboy, Snoopy was my OG. Rudy was a shot caller, Tweety was the BG. This was 89 when the murder rate was critical. East Los Angeles was scandalous and physical. I was right there in the middle of it all, trying to find my way of life, and I sacrificed it all. Taught me everything about the game I need to know. This is how it goes. Yeah.
Like that there, we're back. Yeah. Welcome to After Hours Live, the G-Lew Show, Tuesday nights. Let's talk about it. Hold on one second, people. So, you see things clearly. Welcome again, everyone, to Let's Talk About It. February 7, 2023. I'm back again with my partner, the one and only Big D's here, y'all. Big D. Welcome, Big D.
What up, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight? Good to see you all. Good to see you all, man. What up, Pops? How you been, brother?
Good. Hold on. Let me make sure we don't have an echo.
All right.
Okay. I think we got it under control. All right. Once again, Big D is in the building. What up, everyone in the chat? Shout out to the homie Gilbert Pee Wee Martinez. Shout out to Digital West, my homeboy D West. Denise Castillo, the beautiful Nate Love. What up, Nate?
Italiano 559.
Yeah. Italiano 559. Big D sent me here. What up, though? 77 Bless. What up, man? Glad you could join us, homie. So yeah, we got a good show, people. I see some people tuning in too that don't normally tune in. So I think we got a good topic here tonight, Big D. Tell them about what we got going on,
homie. I think tonight, as many of us know, man, police brutality it's a continuous thing that's been happening in transition in the last couple of years, and it seems as of lately, it's just it's getting more, recognizable. It's being acknowledged, and it's being more publicized as far as what's taking place on the streets, man. So a little bit of this and a little bit of that we're here to give you, man. So you guys dial in, stay tuned. Do what you got to do to get in, get comfortable while we drop it.
That part.
Product of the night.
You want to talk about it? Call in tonight. Give us a minute. We're gonna get the topic going, and we'll let people call in a minute. But that's gonna be the calling number. Tonight we're talking about police brutality, the Hulas, aka shout out to Love Grace, Monica. What up, sis? That's Big D's wife right there. Much love and respect. Polo the Cholo. What up, my G? Lady A. What up, Lady A? Salute. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I'm gonna let my boy Big D, man, take the floor, man. You know, he came up with this topic for tonight, so I'm gonna let him expound.
Right. Let's run it, people. Like Pop said, man, welcome back, everybody, back to the G-Lew Show. I am your co-host, Big D, and let's talk about it, man. So, police brutality, man. As the last decade or so, we have noticed that brutality from the police department has been coming real vital, and it's going viral. I remember when I was young, you know, I'm pretty sure all of us wanted to be some kind of first responder, right? You know, we used to play, you know, cops and robbers. You know, we used to pretend we used to be in the fire department. We always want to be in the public eye, you know, and helping people. I mean, at least that's what I was raised in, right? And then after, you know, growing up, and depending what kind of community you come from, man, you actually see the brutality and the lawlessness of, you know, police departments and all the force they use amongst, you know, human beings, man. Me, myself, I grew up in Boyle Heights in East LA, and I've seen a lot of that, like I said. Before I was 12 or even, you know, younger than that, you know, like I said, I was idolized, you know. I wanted to be some kind of first responder, you know. I wanted to be a police department growing up. It's just, like I said, it was cops and robbers. And then actually, you know, going up and then you seen, you know, how, you know, my family was grown into the neighborhood. And then you start seeing the brutality that the police department was displaying on your family members. And you're like, hey, what's up? What's up with that? So you becoming real custom early as a young individual, especially me, you know, and that's where you hear that topic and you always hear that old good saying in the neighborhood, man, don't tell the cops anything. But at a young age, you know, you start reforming yourself and start thinking like, man, well, who are they, good or are they bad? And then you start seeing the brutality and the exit force that they start doing and displaying it in front of your eyes. I saw many of it right there because where I used to live and where I grew up at was the hood. So, you know, you see the cops out there, you know, they're chasing, especially family members. Of course, you start becoming against the grade, right? You know, you start realizing who the cops really are. You start taking notes and start seeing their formats and the way they, you know, they do their stuff and how they handle their situation. And you say like, hey, man, it's like, you know what? I really don't really want to be a part of that situation. I really don't want to be part of that organization. But not realizing that, hey, you know, these organizations, the police department, the first responders, human beings too. You don't realize that they got a family. They want to go home to their, you know, their children, or for whatever it is. You know, police officers. Let me tell you, people, if you guys don't know by now, they're regular women and men, young adults who are in the department that are out here to try to exceed force among those who are doing bad and are breaking the law. Let's just be honest. Let's keep it real, right? What we do sometimes and how we're actually raised and where we're born at, we become accustomed to two diversity sides of the story. You know, what's being portrayed, what's good and what's bad. Do you want to get involved in this? Do you want to make a difference in your community? You know, who's really a part of this situation? Who's really the ones that are, you know what I mean, in control of this department, right? Because we know every, you know, city, you know, has a police department, right? Sheriffs are coming in. We know the sheriffs are congregated, you know, majority and an organization that's been installed since back in the days since law has come around. So with that being said, what is police brutality? I got something. I wrote something down just to make sure that I didn't forget about it. Police brutality, an extreme form of police misconduct and is a civil rights violation. So, you know, when they say people, you got to know your right. As of lately, you guys have been seen, right? Thanks to the third eye. Everybody talks about the third eye behind the dollar bill, the third eye this, okay? Let me drop something to you guys. You want to know what the third eye is? It's the camera. You see that right there? That's the third eye, okay? Ain't no Illuminati stuff. It ain't no this or that. This is my opinion. You want to see the third eye? Because now this connects us to what's happening across the world, that we can't be there at a particular time, but we get to see it 2 hours, 20 minutes later, 5 minutes later, 5 hours later. Guess what? Now we got the eye on you, right? And as of lately, you've been seeing it, especially last week, right? What was the gentleman's name, right? Last week, Pops?
Tyree Nichols.
Tyree Nichols, right?
Yeah.
Excessively got violated of his rights. Not only of his rights, his life was taken. And we start seeing more and more of this happening. You know why? Because my opinion, the eye, third eye. You know, everything is now, we're in the future now, people. If you don't know what the new millennium is, you're not rocking with it, man, you're going to get left behind that quick. You know, and people are so hip to put anything and everything on social media right now. It's faster than a heartbeat, trust me.
Right,
and in some sense, it's good, and in some sense, it's bad. I mean, how much do we need to record to see somebody actually lose their life? You know, I mean, everybody playing every hour and every second of it and displaying it. Now it's all over social media. I mean, that is good information, but it should be respected too as well. It shouldn't be being played over and over and over again. We already understand what police brutality is. Now, our job, I think, is to get together and start acknowledging, and that's why we're doing this. You know, the third eye is looking, and we start seeing it, and we start displaying it. And this is how we go and we fight against back, you know, police brutality. I've been customized to police brutality. I don't know if anybody else has. If you guys been victimized in police brutality, please leave a comment. Make sure you guys call in. Hey, share your guys' experience because
show your stories. I'm sure a lot of people has stories, and I just want to piggyback off of what you said from beginning to end. Like you said, growing up as kids, right? You know, we really don't know any better first. So, like you said, we are thinking the police are our friends, or they, you know, they're protect and serve. Or, you know, we here in school, what do you want to be, a policeman? And they're all nice. You know, they come to our schools. I'm sure they came to your school at one time or another, talk to the class. So, you know, and then we're kids. So yeah, we looked at like that's the bad guys, people over here, you know, whatever, police are protect. Until we have our own incident or occurrence with the police in a bad way. And like you said again, I think it's worse where some places you grow up, you know, because a lot of things that police do in the inner cities, things we've experienced, we've seen. Let's be real, they don't do that in other neighborhoods, Beverly Hills or you know, all these places, right? Yeah, Brentwood and all these places, they're not doing that. And not to say they don't have, because sometimes, you know, those, I mean, I just think they have a different respect for those people. You know what I mean? They live over there, so they're not going to run up on them and grab them out the car and do all this. They could probably be drunk talking shit, excuse me, but they still won't do any of that. I've seen it, you know what I mean? Where they like cuss the popo out and they're still like, oh, but let us say any one bad thing, you get snatched up, homie, and it's all bad. And just not to go too far, but like you said, till we have an experience that we're coming up. And for me, you know, I had probably my first experience. I was telling someone today, I was barely like 12 years old, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And really got, you know, I was riding with a couple homies. I think we were coming from like Rosemead or somewhere. And just, they followed us like all the way down Valley Boulevard, right? So they finally pulled us over in our hammer somewhere like in front of a McDonald's, and just everyone on the ground, like, you know, I'm just like a kid, you know, everyone on the ground, you know how they do, get out, get on the ground, like face down, you know, laid down and all this, and had us out there for like an hour, bro, just to say, oh, it's okay, we thought you fit the description, right? So it's like, but it was all bad, and just no sorry, anything, just okay, you're free to go.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just stuff like that, it makes you look at them like, wow, you know what I mean?
Right. And then, you know what, and those kind of experiences, you know, they're very dramatic. They're pretty dramatic experiences, man, because I had my fair share with the cops too, right? Are they pushing and violating your rights and doing excessive moves a little too much? I mean, of course they are, you know, in some sense, you know, when they're coming up to you and they're racially profiling, especially, there's a lot of racial profiling. That's what I'm saying. When you're coming from a certain era, and
that's just what it is. And they justify it because because like you said, and let's keep it real, back in the day, that's why I think the difference is when we become somewhat criminals, when we're really doing something, we respect the police in a way that we know that's their job. You know what I mean? To deal with us. We got to be smart. It's cat and mouse, you know. Right. But on the flip side, for civilians or people that's not, or just may look a certain way because we live in an area, we got on a white t-shirt, you know, that doesn't mean, you know what I mean? And they just treat everyone the same way, just like the guy they killed last week. You know, come to find out this was like some kind of gang task force or whatever. They pulled the dude over wherever he was at, I don't know. And they just expect everyone to be probably, he wasn't a drug dealer, he wasn't a gang member or anything, but they approached him that way. And everyone's not going to react the same way. Everyone doesn't know, like you said, we know use the police and how to deal with them, how to act. Everyone don't know that. So some like panic, paranoid, you know, I don't know this guy. I don't know if he had any mental issues. You know what I mean? And then they treated them like that and beat them to death. You know, just everyone you have to be able to treat different. I think the police should be trained better to know how to deal with certain people, man. They just, you know what I mean? It's like, dude, come on, man, don't take all that. Even if he was resisting, I know that's the first thing they say, he's resisting. But this dude was a little dude. You mean to tell me 8 dudes couldn't do better than just to hold them down and maintain them enough to handcuff them, opposed to do all the tasing and all of that. Dude don't take all that, bro.
Right. And for some sense, like you said, it seems like it only hits certain communities. Certain communities get treated differently. And then that's the truth. That's the honest truth. That's going beyond facts, all right? Because facts change all the time. You guys know me already. The truth never changes. And if you're a different, racial color in a certain type of neighborhood, you will get harassed. There's a 50-50 chance that you will encounter some brutality. But this is what separates the truth from the facts, right? The reality is these are human beings. These are regular people, right? They're going to base off judge of character. We are relying on them that they are getting the best training, right? And all the excessive information that they need to make sure that they conduct and do their jobs right? What is their first job, people? Right? Police officers are supposed to protect
and serve.
Right?
Yes.
And then so how could you be protecting the community and then after attacking the community at the same time? You can't, pitch, a certain marbles and then not return, some marbles back. You know what I'm saying?
Big D, check this out. I think why they get away with it and why they have so long until we finally started getting cameras, the Rodney King stuff and all that, even though it's still carried on. But the way they can get away with it, like we just spoke about in different communities, if they're in a neighborhood where that's a neighborhood, a barrio or a gang neighborhood or whatever, most of the time, even certain neighborhoods, period, and that's what people of communities don't understand, why people in other areas get better things done. Because our people in the communities, homie, they don't go because sometimes they don't even know what to do. They don't go to City Hall. They don't go over there and complain about this or say we need this or need that or need better roads, new lights, whatever. So, or let alone the police, how they do. So it's like they know they can come in and do whatever they want. No one's going to do a thing about it for the most part.
And only certain communities apply. Some liquor stores. Right, in every corner.
Some you got them on every corner. Let's keep it real.
You got low poverty income communities. They
got more liquor stores and they got markets and other stuff that we need.
So based on everything, it seems like there's who's governing, right? Where's all these fundings coming from? You know what I'm saying? Who's actually providing? Who's the head of the police department, right? And that's when it goes down to, like they say, you got to go to your local city councilman. It goes from the alley mayors to so because police departments have to be funded. And there's different organizations, right? You got the ATF, FBI, CIA. There's a lot of way of policing, and then and that's how they conduct, services, which is needed. Let's be honest, people. This world,
definitely.
This world
definitely need police for sure.
You do. Right, because I wouldn't want to be a police officer or wait 12 hours of my time during the day to protect and serve. Now, I'll be a law-abiding citizen if I see something that I'm going to react, especially if you're trying to harm my people or me or my family within that situation. But there's a job for everybody, right? And some people are blessed with that to go and to protect and serve. But at the same time, it seems, especially as of lately, that a lot of these departments, they get changed, right? For some reason, the personalities get changed, man. If these people have a high ratio of divorce, they have a lot of substance abuse problems, alcohols and drugs as well. These are just regular human beings, as well too. So I'm not trying to throw shade on them. At the same time, these are the people who try to protect us, but they make sure one thing, that these people work for us, right? And it's our job to know the law.
Some people don't even know that.
Yeah, it's funny because we always know like the First Amendment, Second Amendment, freedom of speech, rights to bear arms and so forth. But how much more laws do you have of knowing? So when it comes and police try to harass you, you got to know the information to give and fight back. There's different ways of fighting back.
Sometimes only takes a couple things to say when they understand that your rights. We don't got a dummy on our hand, because a lot of times they'll just do stuff to see how much they can get away with. A lot of times they can, you know what I mean? Just like you see all these dummies on First 48 and all that. They don't even know. All they got to say is, I don't want to talk no more. I need my lawyer, and they'll leave you alone. Some people, so it's just certain things you need to know that can help you. Doesn't mean they're going to still not act an ass, right? But if they know they're dealing with someone that knows their rights, they're going to be a little bit more careful.
Right. Because all you got to do is present, freedom of speech. Hey, we are here. We're able to bear a lawyer. We have the right to bear a lawyer to defend us and in our behalf. That's part of our law. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, if you notice, people now, especially in social media and YouTube, I've been watching. You guys got to see these short clips. They go up to, the police department. They go over there to the public library. People call the police because they feel they're threatened. Why? It's our right to go over there to a public place and
Right.
you retain.
That's called abusing the law.
Yeah, that's a law. That's, you know what I mean, police brutality in some sense. You know, they're trying to, you know what I mean, keep us down and keep up against, you know, the wall to make sure that we don't know our rights. I mean, what's the name said it himself, right? Bob Marley. Get up,
stand up for your rights.
I mean, that's just basically what it is, man. Martin Luther.
But now, what is it all about?
You know, a lot of our civil leaders, man, that have stood up and marched and did whatever, they took their lives, that fought enough to make sure that not only do we know what freedom of speech is, I mean, people, you got to know more than that. You got to know more when to talk. You got to know what your rights are, because let me tell you, when these officers are kicking your door down and they don't have a warrant, but they'll force themselves in there and catch you with all kinds of stuff, and you ain't doing, you know, you don't know your laws and your rights, you're going to take the blame for it, not knowing that you could have fought that and they violated your rights. That's, you know, that's what's good about being an American. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of cases get returned over too, and a lot of stuff beat cases because a lot of times it's a legal search, it's things they did to you, how they pulled you over. All these things matter. You know what I mean? With you in the law, like you said. So you got to know the law. A lot of times you can, you know, beat some of these charges because they may have legally searched you or legally pulled you over. You know what I mean? Right.
And, you know, and also, man, let me tell you something, people. Police brutality comes, you know, straight out. You know what I mean? It's where the brutality comes from. It's hard on crime. You know, you got to understand, these police officers, they see a lot of things too. Let's just keep it real. Yeah. You know, they see murders, they see deaths, they see families breaking up.
They get numb themselves. That's why they start doing the things they do.
Right. They see a lot of stuff that has to deal with emotional and things that they would not see or thought they probably would have saw within that job, you know what I mean, description. You know, maybe it wasn't on the memo. Go ahead.
No, I thought we had a caller. You got a caller?
Call in, people.
Hold up. Man. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let me figure this out. Okay, there we go. We got a caller? Caller, hello. Okay. Caller, hello. Okay, there we go. Digital West, what up? Good, homie. Can you hear him, Big D?
No.
Okay, I can hear you. I guess you're a little bit low. Let me see. D West. Okay. All right, I can hear you. I don't know. Can you hear him, Big D?
Nah.
I don't know. Well, I can hear you. Okay, I hear you. I don't know. Maybe it's just low. I can hear you though. If you can hear D West in the comments, put a thumbs up, please. What up, D? What's popping, homie? Right. Go ahead, man. You had an incident with the popo growing up or any time that you want to speak about? What up, Jen? Right. Right. Hmm. Hold on, D West. Because people in the comments say they can't hear you either. I don't know. You still can't hear him, Big D?
Nah.
I'm the only one that can hear you. Hold on, let me get this straight. I don't know. Let me see. They said they can't hear you, bro. Let me make sure. Let me see. Check. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I hear you. They just can't. So I'm trying to figure out why they can't hear you. Still nothing, Big D?
Yeah, I can't hear.
Okay, I don't know.
Trying to call back. Or it's not synced, maybe.
Yeah, just try to call back because I don't know. I can hear you, but they can't for some reason. So I don't really even know what to do because I
if
hear you.
you could call back, that'd be cool.
All right, homie. Thanks. Peace. Okay, yeah, I don't know what was up, bro. I could hear him, no one else could. Okay. Well, it's all good. You can hear me, right, Big D?
Yeah, it's good, man.
Okay.
Good. We're
Go
good.
ahead, bro. Guess we'll try again. What up, Jen? Shout out to Jen, Convicted Hearts. Jen Magana. Make sure you follow her channel.
Right. What up, Jen?
Denise?
So basically, I think, a lot of these policies, because it's poor policing, to tell you the truth, man. I think, since the beginning, the police departments have to change and reform their policies, man. They got to sign different, legislations or whatever they got to do, man, and better policing, to tell you the truth. Now, do they get enough training? Like they said, we talked about it right here. I see one of the comments I see, man. There has to be better training. There has to be more mental information. Just the way we as civilians got to get, background check on being, for possession of firearm. There should also be some conductions done, for people who are hiring for police departments, man, because they got to make sure if they're able to pass, see, discuss, hold on, everything they see, within years. And, you start, you see that too much. You start really, if you go to a neighborhood for 10 years, man, and you think that gang members is all about, you're going to have a resentment and a resistance towards, Chicano Black communities. You're going to be like, wow, these people are really ruthless, but it's not really like that. There has to be a more professional way that they have to separate their personal feelings from reality, because that's basically what it is, man. And some of these guys, like you said, it happened since Rodney King. We know that, so this happened since when Rodney King, that's when I say the third eye came out. Somebody did a recording. We saw what the police department could do. And then from that part, man, Rampart Division became famous. And we found out all kinds of things that were taking place that they were doing, misconducting, misinforming, how they were abusing, lying, cheating, everything that you could think of that, that the police department are here for, to protect and to serve. You wouldn't even think that they were doing. Guess what? They were doing, getting paid off, right? By multiple drug dealers, cartels. You hear a lot about that. It ain't nothing new. You don't go and come out of the closet. You guys can see it on the internet. Go back, check out Rampart Division, and that's when everything happened. Rodney King and the whole world changed from that point. We can see the brutality that a man or men and women can do to a certain individual when they take the law in their own hands, right? It could be me. It could be you. It could be any of us. It seems as of lately, especially the last decade or two, maybe you guys may see this or not, there's been more shootings. There's been more killings. There's been more, discrimination, stereotyping, amongst people. And like I said, to me, the police department is, has transitioned in a way where it's just like, well, we can't even trust the police department. Do we need to defund the police department? Well, guess what? The government is already talking about and thinking about it. Many cities don't even want it, right? You look at Portland, Oregon, they don't want to be run by no kind of, law. They think they're their own law over there, right? It's arbitration, right? It's anarchy up there, and they feel like, hey, but to me, that's not the right way either. You just need the proper people in there to do the law enforcement. And that has to go with a lot of it. If the way they have excessive training and breaking down doors, trying to identify what drug is this, getting the dog training there, they got the SWAT team and everything else. I think there still has to be a lot of money that needs to be put in training these officers psychologically, mentally, socially.
Okay. Hold up, Big D. We got a caller.
Handle it.
What up, caller? Hello. Okay, what up? Can you hear her? No one can hear. I don't know what is going on here. You can hear me, right? This Denise? Yeah, you can hear me, but no one can hear you. Big D, you can't hear anything.
No.
Wow. I don't know what that's about.
Keep calling people, man. Keep calling, man. We live right now. There's a hot topic. It's things that needs to be discussed, and we appreciate your support, man.
Okay. Let me try. Hold on, Denise. Let me try something else. Can you hear me? Okay, no, she can hear me.
On speaker.
Okay, well check. People can't hear you. I don't know why. Okay, Denise, check this out. We're gonna do something else. I'm gonna shut down the calls, and you could. I'm gonna put the link up, and you could come in on the link.
There you go.
Because I don't know. Okay, well, it's a way. I think it's a way on there you could call without showing your face. I don't know how to do it, but I see a lot of people do it. So just do that, because I don't know why I can hear you, but no one else can. So you got to try something else. All right, thanks. All right, and Digital West too, or anybody else, instead of calling that number, I'm gonna put the link right here and just tap into the link. And if you don't want to show your face, it's a way you can not show your face. I don't know how to do it, but it's a way you can. So let me take this number down. Okay. I don't know, 1 second. Okay. All right, there she is. Okay, let me see. Let me bring in Denise. Denise Castillo, what up?
Hey, hi guys.
What up, Denise?
I know you can hear. I know you can hear her now, right?
Yeah. Sure.
That's good.
Clear. You sound real clear. What up, Denise?
So speaking on hiring in the police department, and that back in the 90s it was harder to get in law enforcement. I had a few cousins that just got out of the army that tried to get into law enforcement, and it was more of a high you had to meet these criteria to get in there. Now the past 10 years you just need a high school diploma.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say to Big D about that. It seems like now they don't, they want more people so bad that, okay, you don't have any requirement. No, you got a high school diploma, no felonies, clean record, you're pretty much in, right?
But why is that though? Why is that?
Because they want more police.
They need more people, and if you would see, going to my cousin's graduation, they were all youngsters. I mean, 18 and over, like not even 25 yet,
Right. And I think that's crazy. Is that because a lot of people are retiring, you think, or is that because there's lack of, policemen that need to be out there? I mean, it could be a lot of things.
I just think
that's kind of what they said. They said that they're the older the older veteranos, they're already retiring and all that, and they needed new heads,
Right.
So they got new people in.
Yeah, there's a demand for police officers.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. And I think that these little kids, these youngsters are, they're hot-headed. Speaking for LA and Orange County, we get a lot of that brutality.
Right. And I think that's also designed in a certain way. If you come from a big city community, you get a little bit more of excessive force, or I should say a lot of excessive force. I mean, like I said, you see it on social media all the time. So, I could honestly see that, that I heard too, that there was a lot of retirement that people didn't realize and like, especially because of COVID, when it came out that you had to be quarantined and you got to be vaccinated. I mean, people have lost the interest of just taking care of the world, to tell you the truth. And we honestly need these type of people that to be out here, protecting and guiding us, because I mean, that's what the law is here for. They're supposed to take care of the people that can fend for themselves and that can protect themselves. I mean, that's why the law was created. And, not too many of us, there's not that many people that have their husbands or for whatever situation, you're talking about elderly people and so forth. And I mean, we can see so many situations why the cops are needed. But we could point out what the cops are doing bad too. So that's
my girls' high school, they just park a cop's car and, he's not even there. They're not even there.
Wow.
I go to the market and I see the security guard packing, and I'm like, wow, it's crazy.
Right. But how does that make you feel though?
Where?
Like when you see the law, the police department or the, just the law period, do you feel more comfortable? Do you feel safe when you see them? Or are you one of those that, you're kind of resistant to see?
I mean, I still get that weird feeling, because that's how we were raised.
Right.
When you see a cop, you get all like, okay, drive right, or, walk a straight line, or,
right.
You know what I mean? Is he looking at me, or stuff like that? That still goes on in my head, but it's been years since I've, stopped banging and stuff. And, that thought still goes through my mind though. Yeah, for sure.
So that's based on just past experiences though, right? That's just based past experience. That's just like me, and I'm pretty sure Pops could identify to that too. those are our past experiences and how we culturally we grew up. You know, especially if you're from, like I said, Los Angeles, California, and Southern California, maybe even Northern, Middle, all California, to tell you the truth. You know, we were trained, you know, not to say we were a poor neighborhood, but we were a minority neighborhood, right? Where there was not too many Mexicans and blacks at that time in our community. So most of the cops back in then that I remember were all white, to tell you the truth.
Yep.
I don't know if you remember that.
No, yeah. Kicking back, I had this cop called Red. His name was Red. We called him Red.
Right.
And that dude was something else, man.
Right. So, you know, their personalities, like I said, when they left their house, right, they closed their door, their normal life, and they go back to their work and they put the uniform on. You know, these guys act totally different, and you'll be surprised the things and what they could do when they have the law behind them. And that's what makes them kind of as enemies and targets at the same time, you know, and they were hated. And then, like I said, you know, my so-called third eye, you know, the social media, right, the recording, recording everything and acknowledging everything. Now, you know, since Rodney King, you know, things are publicized now. You know, everybody now you can't hide anything. You know, everything's being recorded. Now these police departments, you know, they have to carry cameras on them too.
Hey, but check this out, Big D. I just want to tap in on that part right there where you said the third eye, right? But it seems that I may be wrong, but it seems like some of these police are so comfortable that they do this so much that they don't even, a lot of times they don't even care. Look at this dude that was just killed last week. Their body cameras were on, bro. They were still doing it. Only way I think this even got exposed is because he died, bro. If he wouldn't have died, I don't even think it would have been that serious. And I think those police dudes were so comfortable with doing that type of stuff, they didn't even care the body cameras on. They were recording the whole time, bro.
Right. Yeah. Well, I have to disagree on some of the things you said, man. I think the more you do the bad policing, the more it's being recorded and recognized. I mean, look at George Floyd did another thing too, right? Rodney King, you know, the gentleman.
George Floyd, though, that guy was comfortable sitting there with his knee on George Floyd's neck while he was being recorded, bro.
Right.
I don't know if they just feel that. Yeah, like I don't know if they feel that.
But these police
badges that I don't know. You said what?
But these police officers still don't have the right to go and kill you, man. To use excessive force, man. We're talking about police. You know what police brutality also consists of? Excessive force, bro. That's what it is. You know, that's police brutality has excesses of excessive force. You know, I've been manhandled by the cops many a time. Do you think they went back and recorded it or wrote a little statement on it? Oh yeah, I went over that beat up demon from Quiet Village, threw him behind the cop car, handcuffed him, hit him a couple of times with the baton, and then I let him out, and it was all good.
Hey, trip out on this story, you guys. Okay?
They didn't record anything.
Yeah, this is not too much off the subject, but speaking of police, right? My husband, he was crossing the street, like, you know, like from your house to the house across the street. Right. Not a busy street.
CD West. Right.
Okay. So he was crossing the street and a cop freaking pulls him over, gives him a ticket for jaywalking. And my husband's like, what? Like, it's not even a busy street, right? It's your neighborhood street. So he was like, whatever, you know, took the ticket and next thing you know, there's a family death and my husband goes to the funeral and that cop's sitting in the front seat in front of him. Still in his uniform because I guess he didn't have time to change or whatever, but he recognizes my husband and tells his cousin, hey, who is that dude? And he goes, that's my cousin, my primo, you know? And that cop goes, what? So they're related. Second cousin related. And that cop tripped out, went up to my husband and fucking said, hey, forget about that ticket I gave you a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was just something wild. You know, that was just something wild. I do have two cousins that are LAPD right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a very strong demeanor, I'll say. Mm-hmm. They were always like that growing up. Always had that toughness in them, you know?
Right.
I don't know how they are on the streets. I haven't had time to really, you know, kick back with them and ask them, but I will. I'll ask them one of these days. I'm sure. I can tell you right now.
Do you think
they're real tough? You know.
But do you think this at the same time different? Like you said, police are still humans and all that, and I think the more as they get on the job in the years, it shapes them to be whoever they're going to be. Period. But I was going to say this: do you think certain police forces, like you said, LAPD or LA County Sheriffs, do you think they have to? Sometimes they feel they have to be a certain way to deal with some of the people out there. You know what I mean? So I
No,
agree
I
with
think
that. But
I think that too. Yeah, for
they have to
sure.
be really. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, check this out. You know, there's so many different um people of different what do I call it? Personalities,
right,
right?
right.
And you know, some people you see and so I knew a head that was like stubborn as hell and he wouldn't stop for cops for anything. You know, they
Right,
would have to kind of tackle him down and say, I'm fucking talking to you, excuse me, like talking to you.
right.
You know, I've asked you to stop a few times. And this dude was normal headed, but he was a hothead. He was one of the hothead homies and he would not listen whatsoever to him,
Mm,
cops, you know, until they tackled him down and told him, I'm freaking talking to you. You need to stop when I
right,
tell you. And that's it. But, you
right.
know, see a lot of these people, like a lot of us do that. A lot
Right.
of
Yeah.
people do that. They don't stop and they don't listen. And, you know, if you don't listen, there's
That's very,
consequences.
yeah, it is. That's what I said when me and Big D said earlier. You have to know your rights, and you have to know your rights, and they have to know they're like
Yeah.
dealing with them, vice
This is
versa.
what I
You have
say.
to know. I mean,
A cop's job is to stop you if you're doing something, take you in. You don't have to answer anything to them. Their job is
mhm,
to take you from point A to point B, and that's it.
Only if
right,
you're violating a crime.
Yeah. Yep.
right. Hey, one more thing on that. I was gonna say, just like you said, or someone in the comments said though, I think they need better training because now it's not like the old days, like you just said, people are being hot-headed and all this. You may be dealing with someone who does have mental health issues or mental,
Yeah.
where they're not going to comprehend to you, and it may not be personal or personally that they're doing it. It's just because
Yeah. No,
whatever the
for
case.
sure.
And I think the cops need to know how to deal with these situations, so you know how to, because
Yeah.
you know how they're going to think automatically, oh, you're not listening to me, and it's really not that, and they're going to get insulted,
You
and
know
then
what?
you're going to grab them up, sock them up, beat them down, and then you
Yeah.
may not know he just has a mental issue. It wasn't what you thought.
Right. And you know what I think that, but this probably will never happen. But um, I think that the cops need to have um a therapist maybe or something like that riding along with them, you
Right.
know, to deal with people with mental health because that's pretty much
And
what's
we're
out
dealing
there
with that a
now.
lot now. Yeah, a lot. Like
Yeah.
way more than, it's bigger than just criminals. You have a lot of people with mental health. Now you have a big homeless issue. It's a lot going on. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I
And
don't
it's
think they're ready for that or even care. I don't know, but
Well, it's
they
time for
have
a
to. It
change and there's, you know, there's
really
too many
is.
people out there and, you know, there's time for a change now. So,
right. Right. Because even in the movie Lethal Weapon, well, remember Riggs was he was being studied by that psychologist. Remember, because his wife died and so
mhm,
forth, he was suicidal and nobody even knew. Right, but
yeah.
his actions, were talking, and his feelings were expressing the way he was talking, and it was being displayed, and they didn't
Yes.
really know he was suicidal. So you got to understand, police officers are humans too. Okay, they're not Supermans. When we're young, they're superheroes. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
but when we get older, we start finding out what they really are, and for some of us, we get a turn off.
Right.
We start seeing what the actions and the misconductions that they're doing to people, and I don't think that's not right. It's just like
Yeah.
at some point, if me personally, okay. So if George Floyd or the gentleman that got killed last week, right? And then you're walking along, and let's just say you have a firearm, bro, and they're killing these guys right in front of you. I mean, what's the difference between police brutality or excessive force? I mean, to me, that was a misconduction of both, to tell you the truth. I mean, if this guy's screaming for his mom, we've seen it with Floyd the first time. Then they take the last breath of this individual. I mean, can you say you're protecting the law or you're abiding by the law when you're actually violating somebody right in front of everybody? And you know what I mean? Next thing you know, the gentleman's dead. He gets tased like 20 times. It's just, I mean, that's the
I
brutality.
just don't think it took all that. I think it was like 5 or 6 of those big old cops.
Oh,
Because
guy.
this little dude, I don't know. I know he resisted. I know they're gonna keep saying he resisted. I understand, but I think they could have subdued him or did something else to just get mad and beat him up. That was like
Yeah.
personal, So that's where it gets
And,
tricky
How
and
at.
about how about the guy, I forgot what city he was out of, but the one that he was a paraplegic. and
Oh
they
yeah, I
freaking
remember that.
they shot
Yeah,
him, and
yeah,
all because he had a knife and he threw it at them. Come on now.
Right,
yeah,
right,
exactly.
right,
I
right.
don't,
Yeah, he can't even
I
walk.
don't get that. Like
He
really,
has a hand.
Like really? Come on.
That's why
Okay.
I think sometimes they abuse their force. Like they
Oh
just want
yeah.
to shoot. They
Big
get a
time.
reason to shoot someone. Like let's go. I don't know
Yeah.
because it's like you said, they shoot people. They've shot a lot of people. Have gotten shot for having a knife. That's not the first time. You know that.
Yeah.
If you don't
Yeah.
drop the knife, we're gonna shoot you. Like really, what is he gonna do?
I
You know
mean,
what I
come
mean?
on. Tase him or throw some
Yeah.
freaking.
If he
Rubber
keep
bullet
moving forward, they shoot him.
Yeah.
I
or
don't know.
something.
Let
But
me add. We got a couple more people want to come in. Let me
All
add.
right, you guys.
jump in.
I'll talk to you later, guys.
All right,
Okay,
Denise.
you didn't have to
talk
go. Okay,
Take
Denise.
care.
All right, thanks. All right, let me bring in Digital West.
There you go.
D
What up,
West.
bitch?
What up? What up?
What up, man? What's popping? I see you, SD. Give me 1 minute, homie. What up, D West?
What up, y'all? How y'all doing, fam? What up, Big D? What up, G-Lew? How y'all doing?
Bro.
Good, bro. Glad you could tap in. I don't know earlier. I could hear you when no one else could, so I guess we're good now. I like this thing right here because you don't got to show your face. I don't know how to do that though. But what up, D West?
Yo, man, yeah, man. My studio wasn't ready, so man, I just had to use the avatar
Nah,
real
you
quick.
good. You good, bro.
Yeah, I just want to tell a quick story about, I've been abused by the police. I ain't gonna say I was innocent all the way, but the excessive force was definitely not necessary for the situation.
Right.
And it was two incidents. One which was in 1994, man. Me and the fellas got caught with a pistol, and guys told on us, and the police came. And to remind you, it wasn't Detroit police. It was Southfield, Oakland County police, which was sheriffs outside the city.
Right.
And they had took me down, scuffed me up real bad, and they really put a beating on me. That upset my moms, and it was nothing done about the situation. And I ended up getting charged for the gun at the time. I had to go to Young Youth Authority, which was a probation thing where if your first time getting caught with a pistol, they will give you probation. Mm-hmm. So that kept you from getting a felony. So the second situation was a couple of months later. I ended up getting into it with a school security guard, ended up getting the best of me. And he called the police, and I rushed across the street. They was waiting on me. It was about 9 cops jumped on me. And, they was talking real slick to me, man. I mean, these grown men, they 40s, whooping on a teenager. Kicked me all in my nuts. And that was the first time I went to the county. So I ended up doing 3 months behind the end, called a felony.
Wow.
Yeah, started messing up my record at that point.
What did they charge you for?
Assaulting a police officer, he was a school security guard, but he was an off-duty cop.
Wow.
Yeah, so, I got in. That's really my only time really dealing with them on that level besides Detroit police. They'll just talk to you dirty, but
let me ask you this. I'm not familiar with Detroit. I know they have a history. What do you think about police, period? Because we're talking, even me, like when we're talking about police brutality, I played after police. I'm really talking about the bad cops. We don't, at the same time, we don't want to exclude. There is some good cops out there, man. So we're not going to. No, we're speaking the real and what we've dealt with a lot of the bad ones, or just whatever it may be. Being our,
man, it's like every situation.
You got a brown, but it is good cops out there, and I've encountered sometimes. So
I ran into something that was pretty cool. Hey, look, it was some that pulled me over from drinking and driving, and I knew I should have went to jail. And all they did was give me a ticket when I should have had a DUI. But I talked my way out of the situation, and they was pretty cool. Listen, I could tell you another situation. I had a shotgun in the car, right? The police
like you was always all to the bad. Listen. I'm trying to work with you. You was all to the bad, bro. Go ahead.
Listen. Look, we got caught with a shotgun. This is about 95, right? Police stopped, let us go because she didn't want to do no paperwork. Let us go. So it's something that's cool, and it's something that's bad. It all depends on the luck of the draw, which one you're gonna get. And like mental illness has a lot to play with it.
Right, that's right.
These days, really especially, it's a lot of mental illness. So I think they need to be maybe retrained or something, special courses for that. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Big D. I'm gonna bring SD in a minute.
You know what's a trip though, man. Statistically, I was looking, bro. these last couple of years, man, especially this last decade, has been the most cop shootings and killings in the last 10 years, especially last year, bro. We're talking about over 1,000 cop shootings, killings, and so forth. Let me remind you, we had an incident last year, right, in Amani, California. What happened? Two Amani cops got killed, and they killed my homeboy. That's all I'll say. It's just that. You know, there was 3 lives that were lost last year. You know what I'm saying? So these police are getting, you know, people are shooting back now. You know, people are fighting back. You know, brutality is real. Humiliation is real, man. How they're derogatory stereotyping, no matter what you call it. There are some cops that wake up, you know, drink their coffee, eat their donuts, and they're looking for trouble. That's just straight out, man. That's keeping it real right there. So, but, you know, that's why there has to be reform. All the ATF, you know what I mean, internal affairs, these cops, I think, should be, you know, diagnosed or psychologically should be reviewed at least every 6 months, not a year, you know, because you're dealing with the humanistic minds. You don't know what he saw yesterday that he wasn't thinking today. Let's just remember that.
Facts.
Right. Got
Hey, what up?
Southtown SD up in here. What up, homie?
What's up, bro? Man, I'm glad you're on the subject, dog. So check it out, man.
Let's talk about it.
Check it out, especially that last young lady that was on here. You know, I was listening to her and listening to you guys. But look, bro, so I don't know if you remember me telling you, but I worked with law enforcement for 10 years.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you right now, bro, it's the training, and this is what it is they are taught, bro. They're trained. First of all, let me make the camera steady.
Okay.
First of all, they're trained to be in fear. So that's the first thing. They teach them that
look for the worst.
That the next person they deal with could be the very last, and that at any moment this person could turn around and kill you because you're a cop. So that's one. They got them in paranoia.
Right.
Number two, this is how they refer to citizens, and this is real talk. And I got police friends, and I don't care if they get mad at me because it's the truth. I was going to do a whole video on where's all the Christian and religious people who are supposed to stand up for what's right, who keep their mouth shut because they don't want to lose their job. And that's the truth, because there's a lot of Christian police, but they keep their mouth shut. And that's just as bad. You're worse because you're allowing that to happen when you know it's wrong.
About that.
Okay. So
how would a Christian even become a cop? I can't say that, but knowing it's a lot of.
Maybe I can answer that. It all goes down to the funding. You know, you got organizations that are funding these police departments. You know, you got to understand they get a federal money, they get a state money, right?
So I'm saying individually, brother. I'm saying like as a Christian man, if you're a true, because I knew some police officers and eventually they would leave or they would change their job or they would say something because it's integrity, bro. You can't let, you know what I mean? But anyways, look. So number two, they teach them like they don't refer to us as citizens, bro. They don't refer to us as people. Do you know what they call the normal citizen? You can ask any police officer, bro. They call them dirt bags. Wow. They don't say citizens. They say, oh, we got dirt bags. The only other term is RP, which means reporting party. And even the reporting parties, haven't you heard how mean the dispatchers talk to citizens when they call in? Yeah. It's like they make a citizen feel like they're bothering the dispatcher.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It at least from the ones I've heard. But I know true. Like and then that's the third thing is that they're taught to empty the clip. They're not taught to shoot them in the leg. You know, why do you go to the range and practice if all you're gonna do is just unload and eliminate something for a cell phone, something for because he don't want to answer your questions because you're afraid. But see, that's why, bro. Doesn't it all make sense?
It does.
That's why. So when you say they shoot to kill.
Right.
They shoot to kill because they're taught that, though. They're taught that, bro. A normal person will not do that, but it's pushed into their head. Look, it takes 2-3 months to be a cop, to be a barber, to be a beauticianist, to be anything else. You got to go 2 years minimum, bro.
2 or 3 months.
How is it that you could become a cop and carry a gun in a few months, bro? Get out of here.
It's because
let me ask you this. We talked about this earlier. Is it because now the high demand for more cops that they send them through easier, or is it different from what it training was? Like, what is different now? Well, what
that's one. I'll tell you that right now. That's one because I dealt with it myself. But let me tell you this story before I forget, bro. When I got my PCA 32, which is the powers of arrest, which just means you're allowed to write tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Sí. ¿A quién busca? El mapa está ahí, no, yo estoy visitando nomás. Mira, ahí está. No, sí, miré ahí, pero dije, pensé, a lo mejor él es el cuarto de aquí. Sorry, bro. Yeah. So
we're live, y'all. We're live. It's all good, bro.
When I took that training, the guy who did the training, bro, he was from the crash unit. Do you know who the crash unit is?
Yes.
You remember them, bro?
Like gang unit.
He was an OG. He was a member of the crash unit, and he told us everything like just like in training day. He said when he went into training, his training officer had him go buy a beer, had him drink it, had him smoke, had him do all this stuff, and at the end of the day, he said, if you say anything, it's your word against mine, and you're a rookie. Right. And that's real, bro. And he told us how back then he was a cop, and those times they would go to people and use their phone at the house when they would get in chases, when it was crazier times. But bro, he said that they used to beat people with the blackjack.
Wow.
You know what a blackjack is?
Yeah, that Billy Club.
The blackjack is a little leather. It's a little flat leather thing. They made it illegal, but it's full of lead. It's like it's like a wallet size, but with a piece of lead in it, bro. And it has a handle. And they used to just hit people with it, and they'll knock you out, bro. Yeah. And they banned it because it was killing people too.
Right.
But
that Billy Club just as bad though, shit.
Bro, exactly. But see, he confirmed everything, bro. When I took that training, and he didn't hold back. He was like bragging about the stuff he did, bro. He wasn't afraid to talk about it freely in a class, bro. Even though it was 20 years later, he was still bragging about it. Like, oh yeah, we used to put beatings on it. He's all, we used to patrol. It was crazy, bro. It was a trip.
They always say LAPD is a gang too. They're their own gang.
Exactly, and there's a lot of departments. Even the sheriff department, as a recent,
for real,
man, they got exposed, right?
So the training, So see, before, like you said, the training used to be 2 years, right? I dealt with this deputy. He was so scared. I'll condense the story, man. But I was dealing with a man. His dogs got into the neighbor's yard and chewed up his sprinklers, and the neighbor had it on video. And the man was cool. He was like a 50-something-year-old older black man, right?
Right.
And we're chilling. He's cool. He's about to give me his info, and then out pulls up his nephew, who's like 6'9". He plays basketball for SDSU or some shit, and he goes, don't tell him shit. And then so the uncle snaps, bro, and's like, yeah, I ain't giving you shit, and immediately just turns into a dick. So we start going at it. And they're like, we ain't gonna give. And I go, look, man, it's simple. Your neighbor, your dog fucked up your neighbor's shit, and he's got it on video. Just pay for it, and that's all. But I just need your information, and I'm out of here. Anyways, bro, they made me call the sheriffs, and when the sheriff got there, the deputy was shaking in his boots. They told him, "F you, I ain't giving you my ID. Look it up with my social." Wow. And he did everything they said, and then they went into the house. And then so I called the watch commander, and I go, man, your deputy just let these dudes go into the house. How do we know what they're gonna go grab, man? You know what I mean?
Exactly. They got tactics. They know how to skill. They got skills. They know how to revert, divert, and do all kinds of. They got their schemes, man. Trust me.
But he was saying the sheriff was scary though, right?
Yeah, the sheriff got scared.
A sheriff is supposed to be the top. How does that happen?
Because because what happened was they went from 2 years training to 3 months, and they're throwing these dudes in the field.
Right.
So this dude, and he was a young white dude, and there was these two big black dudes, bro. And I'm only 5'4", dog. But it's your
even a sheriff though, you have to be so many years in or you get a sheriff, but that's special, right?
There's a term.
You go to county jail for 2 years.
Right. Be a CO.
Yeah,
correct. Hands-on training, then you could go on.
Yeah. No, but they used to do that. They stopped doing that. That's why this dude only went to the academy. He was in ride-alongs for 3 months, and they threw him in the street. And that's why, bro. But Trip, when you're an officer, you're supposed to have what's called command presence. And that's why when you deal with the police, they always want like, okay, everybody quiet. Listen, answer me. That's what command presence is, but you don't have to be an asshole. It just means that you maintain order, so you find out what the hell's going on. That's it.
Right. Validated information. Yeah.
That's it. It doesn't mean you're a dick. It doesn't mean you're disrespectful, bro.
Yeah, that's why they tell you sometimes. He goes, "You're not being detained. You're just being questioned. You're just being held." But which one is it? That's why people are using it. They have recordings and they're using the third eye that people violation.
Hey, but it's simple though. Look, anytime a police officer makes contact with you, it's simple, bro. They do it on the first auditor all the time. But I'll tell you, you just say, "Am I being detained?" And if they say yes, then you say,
"Yeah."
Right. Then we lost
am I being suspected of committing a crime? Did I commit a crime or what? Right. And if he can't articulate it, then you say, "Am I free to go?" Yeah. And if they say yes, then you leave and you get the fuck out of there, and they can't fuck with you.
Yeah, ask no questions. We do have rights, but the thing is, we do not use them enough.
We don't use our rights, so people don't know.
Yeah, in order to, go back and have these conversations with these deputies and making sure that they're not forcefully using their force, brutality, or any kind of way, to try to, derogatize, our human rights, man. It's not right. I had my shares with the sheriffs too. Trust me, man. And
hey, but do you think this though? Do they abuse our rights? Like, say, for instance, a person that's been locked up before, been to prison, whatever, you got a record, but you haven't been in trouble for years or whatever, but they know you have a record,
right?
Just because they try to use that against you and do all this extra stuff, bro. Like, what do you think about that? Like,
no, okay, so you know what? They will use that against you. And they'll use anything, especially if you're caught in an act where you're violating the law. They will use.
Well, I'm saying though, you haven't. Like, you're just a regular whatever that stopped in it, but they find out. Like, everyone in the car, does anyone have a record? You know how they do. Right. You ain't in trouble on parole, probation, but do you have a record? And once they find that out, it's the extras, right?
In some manner,
I'm talking about that.
Right. In some manner, I have encountered that situation. I had a split decision. A couple of cops that they were cool, and they had two cops that were jerks. There's especially, it's always Pico sheriffs, man. I'm from Whittier, from Southeast Los Angeles people, and I'm around that area a lot. And between the Norwalk sheriffs and the
Norwalk is the worst. Norwalk is the worst.
These guys are untrustworthy. I'm gonna exploit and share some of my experiences with the cops. What they have done in my experiences. I seen cops grab my homeboys and drop them off at my rival enemies. I got dropped off at my rival enemies.
Yeah, they'll do that over here too, bro. Yep.
I seen cops go get my enemies, bring them to the hood, open up the door and say, "Give this fool a beating while the homie's locked up." And what are you gonna do? You're gonna have to, you're gonna get your lick on. You know what I'm saying? I seen cops drinking on the job. I seen cops pull us over, and I seen a sergeant.
I'm sure back in the day there was a lot of that going on. Back in the day, I don't think it's that easier now. Yeah, back in the day, I'm sure there was a lot of that going on.
I seen the sergeant, the girls that we were with, he put them in his car. We had like 3-4 girls, and he had a Bud Light right between his leg on duty, bro. I seen cops, dish drugs out uninitially, like saying that, accusations coming. Hey, this is your dope. No, it's not. I mean, I seen cops. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy.
Tonight, big dog.
I never saw it, but I heard like in one of the cities I worked in, there was an officer that was slanging, bro.
Yeah, they do that. And county jails.
He's from Detroit, Denise.
There's only one way.
Or the homie right here, she's talking about you. He's from San Diego. Dago. Denise, that's where you from. That's the homegirl that was on here before you came on.
Oh yeah. So it's the training, man. It's the training, straight up. And it's the training, the paranoia they put into their mind. Now, of course, they get solid officers who come in who are older, who already have their own mentality. I know plenty of really good officers, but like I said, they usually do a good job. They don't hang around with those guys, and they are out there, but they're so few. And the other guys who really aren't bad, but it's the training. Like I said, the small percentage, there is guys with grudges. There is guys out there who are gangster as a police. It's the same mentality. They would have been in the hood, but they just became a cop. They're smarter.
Right.
They were just smarter, straight up. Straight up.
Right. Hey, do you think too it's like the streets, just like you said, some OG cops or the bad cop, the ones that are respected or they can actually manipulate some of the newer recruits or have them scared, like you say, one may be on the good side and want to do this, but he you know what I mean? He puts his influence on them and now they kind of deter those guys or make them scared to do the right thing or whatever. You feel me? Does that happen a lot?
I think if one organization is still continuously open and there's some kind of curiosity on it, and you find these people that will join or want to be part or have a curiosity toward the organization, and if it's the right money and if it's the right fit for them, they're gonna be corrupted just like the next one, bro. Trust me.
I have a friend that went, bro, and he quit after 2 weeks because sheriffs, because they beat a guy and go into the mental issue. This guy had mental issues, bro, and I forgot what he did to piss the guy off, and they beat him up. And my boy Dominic, he was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And he tried to do a complaint, and they basically told him like, "Bro, you don't know what you're getting yourself into." And then he didn't feel safe, so he just gave us 2 weeks, and he came back to the office. We worked in the office at that time. And so there are people that won't do it, bro. There's people that won't do it. They'll just say, you know what, the money's not worth it.
Exactly, and I respect that, but there's probably so many others that don't because they feel, oh, this is my career, this is what they work so much to get to, and just like Buddy in Training Day, like confused, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I feel it's like
how do you separate from facts from fiction, bro? You know what I mean? A lot of these movies, it seems like they know what they're saying and they're talking about.
Bro, most of those movies are, it's like they just put out what's the truth,
Right.
When we listen to music, right? We heard NWA when they said F the police.
You by the airport, homie?
They knew that what they were talking about? They knew what they were talking about.
Right.
They were talking about the brutality. They were talking about the non-policing that the police departments were doing. The fakeism, the stereotyping. I mean, NWA put it out, man. There was people speaking beyond the people, and then cameras came out, right? The social media came out, and now departments they have to carry cameras now they're being monitored. And let me tell you something, man. There's nothing wrong, like I said from the beginning, people. As human beings, somebody has to police us, man. Us human beings, we got to be monitored. Okay, for me, there's a reason why. That's why I believe in the Bible.
Do you know why the real reason is? The police started to avoid big feuds and revenge. That's how it started. Because
give me history on the. I would love to hear that.
So that's why it started, bro. Because not to cut you off, bro, but because back in the day, that's what would happen. Like you hear about the Hatfields and McCoys families. Hey, you killed mine, like the cartels, like anywhere in the world. So that was to defuse that, because now you have a neutral party that will punish the killer, and then the family has to forgive. And that's what back then, religion was really, really, really strong in everybody. So they would be like, okay, that's the right thing to do. He's going to jail. Let's let it go instead of continuing the killing. But then, of course, then comes power and all the stuff that comes with being an officer, and that goes back to the beginning. To the same thing, or having a drinking problem, or having an anger problem, or being racist. I met guys too that told me they were racist until they went to the military. I met this white dude from out here in San Diego, from Santee. That's they got the Klan out there. And he told me, he goes, bro, I was raised to hate black people. I was raised to hate Mexicans. He was like, and when I went to the Marines, they specifically teamed me up with a black guy. And he goes, and guess what? That's my brother now, man. He went to Desert Storm. So he's like, bro, now I knew how stupid I was. He's like, and how dumb all that bullshit is, man. But some people snap out of it and some don't, bro.
Right. But like you said, a big thing about that is mainly how you're raised. That's how you learn to be how you are. And a lot of times, like you said, the crazy part is when people are racist or just sometimes we don't think it as racism, but it is when you're just stuck on who you are. Like, I don't care about other people.
To them, it's kind of normal.
It's normal, but you're not around those people. That's why I think a lot of times that's the main thing. You don't know, so you automatically, until you meet someone or be around, you're like, wow, become best friends because you just taught that, but you don't know, you haven't experienced it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, man, it's a trip, man. Police brutality policing. Honestly, comes from obeying the law. Let's just go that, okay? Let's not even talk about police brutality and all that. Let's just talk about policing. Policing is just basically just looking over civilization and over the citizens of your community, towns, cities, and so forth, man. And it's been happening way back since the beginning of time, man. Right? That's why me. Big D, a spiritual guy. The 10 Commandments, where the law was made, man. If you look at the 10 Commandments,
those 10 Commandments are official. They are.
It's also reverted by the law.
Really, the real.
And since that point, most humanistic, especially the United States, have obeyed and abide by the laws of the land. Man. Thou shalt not kill. You kill somebody today, it's called murder. You know, or if you try to kill somebody, it's attempted murder, right? If you get caught stealing, it's a 211, right? Thou shalt not steal.
But do you think, and this has always been a debate, I just want to ask you briefly, Big D, just get your opinion since talking about it. Let me ask you this. Do you think because in the Bible or whatever, it says that any, like you said, thou shalt not sin. I don't know if that's in the commandments, right? But it's almost listed as in the Bible as any one sin is no greater than another. So like you can't, to me, I've always been debated about that because I'm like, I don't think you could put murder in the same token as if just someone told a lie or something else that considered a sin, but it's not, it's greater, but it's right. A sin is a sin, right? That's what they say.
Yeah. Well, that's
what do you think about that?
Yeah, God does. The Bible does say it does consist of sin. Sin. Sin is sin. Whether stealing is just the same as murder. Believe it or not, people. You know, people will say, "Wow, that's how is he going to look?"
Sin is a sin, man.
God is not diverse.
I just wanted to take on it.
The reason why, because God didn't want to be diverse. He didn't want to be like, "Oh well, now I'm gonna have to go to court and talk about since you didn't kill and he stole and he killed. You know what I mean? Now I have to give him a lot more time than him." That's the way the law's done in today's society, right? We vary what we've done in the laws we break, right? The murder, you know, it's totally different how we, as humanistic, we see it. But since God is diverse and sin is sin, he can't judge the other because he loves us all the same. You know, that's why it's balanced out into one. You know, whether you do it or you don't. You know, I mean, that's just the way.
But on the flip side too, you can probably, like you said, just maybe you stole some can. I'm gonna keep it simple. Say you just stole some can. I don't know, whatever. Stealing is stealing. It ain't no better.
Yeah, that's what I'm
especially
saying.
when stealing is stealing, bro. I agree. But what I'm trying to say is, you can always, ask forgiveness for your sins, and he's gonna forgive you.
It's check this out.
It's a difference if you killed someone opposed you stole some candy. The forgiveness or not, or say you get caught, you doing life opposed to.
Hey, G-Lew, here's the difference. Yeah, here's the difference. So I think this is what it is that, and it goes back to, this is another thing too, that police are taught, and a lot of them are told not to follow it. So there's the spirit of the law and the letter of the law.
Okay.
So it's like anything else. If you get caught stealing, but you're stealing because you're hungry and you got no food, that's different than if you're stealing just because you're being greedy. If you already got everything you need and you're just taking extra. Now you're stealing with a malicious intent. But if you're stealing out of necessity,
you won't get in trouble for that.
Your punishment will be different, right? You're gonna have mercy on the one who's stealing because they were hungry, right? Same thing with murder. If you kill in the crime of passion, you just kill out of nowhere. It's not the same as like, okay, man, I'm gonna wait for G-Lew to come out the studio and I'm gonna murk him. Nah,
you don't have a motive, a narrative.
I got you on that.
See, people who are conducting stuff and have plot evil in their life, obviously those are bad intentions. You know what I'm saying? Like the law.
And the sin is still the same sin. There's no degree. There's no degree in sin, but the punishment, yes. The punishment, I believe that's the difference is.
That makes a lot of sense, bro.
Right. Because if you're out there like if you're like Big and Smalls, right? You're selling dope to support your family, feed your family, right? You're not really doing it in a bad way because that's your way of hustling and trying to provide for your family. But at the same time, you're selling poison to the community and you're actually being a tribute to what's happening in society, and things see it like that. You're destroying more people. So necessarily, unless you get caught for it, it ain't a crime till you get caught. Right. Let's just say, and that's why God is the eternal God, because he sees everything regardless. You may think you're going to get away with this here, you get away with it, but when it comes to eternal life, you ain't getting away.
That's why we say on my radio show, my homeboy said that, I always use that. I think, people have to, I know it's hard, but I think you'll do better in life and trying to do better. Like if you always live like God is watching. You know what I mean? Because certain things, if God, you wouldn't do. And that's even now relatable to life, period. Someone is watching. Even if it ain't God, it's a camera right here. Right. Everywhere.
Yeah. I saw a video. You see the video where recent one where the officer punches the guy. He's not even involved in it, and the guy punches him, and then the guy tells him, man, God, he said, man, I hope God forgives you, man, because what you're doing is wrong. Yeah, he straight told him.
God sees
it. Hey, yes, exactly what you just said, G-Lew. He told the dude, and you could tell the officer kind of thought for a minute, but yeah, man, they socked this dude up for no reason. He wasn't even the intended suspect or nothing. They just pulled him out of his car, and because he said, well, what's going on, this guy just socked him up, bro, busted his face up.
Yeah. Wow. You can't just be going around, you know, communities and display your badge and your gun and pull your chest out and you drive in your black and white car and think you have immorality over your civilization. It doesn't work like that. You have a job. I mean, a lot of these cops forget that they work for us. And unless you're pointing out what they're doing wrong or not reporting it, that's why you could go up to them and say, sir, what's your badge number? What's your name?
Yep. And they have to give it to you, man.
Give it to you. They have to. You have to. Us as people have to hold these people accountable. But since we're raised and taught back in the days not to get involved,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You think it's a problem where, you know, most of us are not going to do all that. They'd be like, nah, I ain't. Nah. You know what I mean?
And it's still kind of hard for me. I don't know if I could do it. I could probably do it for the behalf of my daughter and the behalf of my wife. You know, I'll call the cops and say, hey, you know, they're being violated or this was done to them or that. Right. It's a lot easier, but
I can't just see myself calling the cops. I can't. I can't see myself calling the cops for nothing, homie, unless I'm in an accident or something. But I don't know. I'm just keeping it real. I can't do it, bro. I can't bring myself to call.
Like I said, yeah, it will be real hard to me. Like last week, you know, like I said, my condolences go out to Tyler, you know, and the family and so forth to lost. But if I see something happening like that, and they're just black, brown, white, I don't care. I'll probably jump in. Now I ain't gonna shoot them. But I know what a sexist force is, man. You know, I know what police brutality is, man. If I'm going to take a licking, I'm pretty sure it'll be not worth it. Not to intervene. I don't want the third eye.
That's what Pac did back in the day.
Yeah, I don't want the third eye. It's just like, hey, straight up. You know what I mean? Whether you believe in it or not, man. Police brutality, I don't believe in it. So I'm going to have to jump in, dog. You know what I'm saying?
That's what Pac did back in the day. He shot a cop. Hey, Southtown SD, let me ask you this, bro. I don't think I did last time, but being that you had all the training, you dealt with the police and all that, why didn't you ever, was it an option or like, why didn't you ever want to pursue that after you dealt with that?
Yeah, so I was animal control, man. And yeah, they like the guys that I ended up working with and SDPD actually, because I did a call with them and they were like, bro, why don't you join? But I never wanted to, bro, honestly, because I've been in cuffs. You know, I did time as a juvenile.
Right. Juvie and like a homie to me. I couldn't picture you dog. I don't know. That's why I was surprised when you told me all that you did.
Yeah, bro. I could not see myself putting somebody in cuffs and taking away their freedom. Now, mind you, like somebody bad that did something to kids or things like that, but it just didn't give me interest. I had more interest in helping people with their animals and this man, like I said, I can straight up say from experience that a lot of what happens, it doesn't need to, because I was, like I said, 10 years, dog. And you know, a pet is somebody, like, people will die for their pet, bro. And I've had people get in my face with all kinds of weapons, bro. I've had people get crazy with me. I never once used my baton, my taser, my pepper spray, because I was able to just talk him out of it, man, and stay calm. And you know, thank God, I'm blessed. I'm not bragging or nothing. That's just the truth. And our job, bro, I'd be by myself. Police going too. Police got guns and all this stuff, and we look like police. The two uniforms that I had, one looked like a sheriff, the other one looked like a straight PD. And people always thought we were police, man. So I've dealt with all the bad attitudes, and it's just all how you address people back, man. That's all it is.
Right. Respect, mutual respect. Hey, I gotta ask you, where's baby girl? Where's Powder? And what's her name?
Oh, Popcorn. She's in the kennel right now.
Popcorn. Yeah, I'm surprised she ain't with. My bad, Popcorn. I called you Powder.
No, it's all right. That's a good one. I'm about to go hit the liquor store, get some wraps, man, and my drink for tomorrow.
Okay,
that's right.
I would ask what you smoking on, right? We ain't gonna go there. This ain't that type of show, but D-West, you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, you got anything to add, bro? I forgot you was down there.
Oh man, I only spoke when spoken to, homie. You know, I'm letting y'all
you know, you welcome, man, to speak anytime, bro. Anytime you can speak.
Listen, I just want to say this before I get out of here, homies. Listen, I don't know if y'all know about this, right? My uncle, right? the ex-military guy. He giving me some game. So peep this. I don't know if this is right. Do y'all know that there's foreign troops here in bunkers living here in the United States, right? Foreign troops. I'm talking about from Russia, all over. And you know what they waiting on?
What?
They're waiting to get at the police. Because they using them as frontliners. So when they doing all this police brutality and them whooping on us, they really want us to come together and start rioting. So they have a reason to knock us off. But they don't know the cops is going to put down their guns and try to help us, but it's going to be too late. And the foreign troops are going to take their asses out. Then they're going to usher in the martial law. And the cops don't even know. They getting played like pawns. So why they doing all that to us? They better resign now because it's about to get ugly. And that's all I'm gonna speak on it right now. And it's coming from somebody that's in the military. Yeah, they got foreign troops right now in bunkers, waiting to take motherfuckers out to usher in the new world order. That's all I'm gonna speak on, homies. It's bigger than everything, man. A lot of people don't know this, so I just want to get it out there.
Right. I mean, I've been hearing stuff like that, man.
Do y'all research it? You know what I'm saying? I always tell people do their own research.
They're looking for that common law, man. That one world order, man. One law, one God, one religion, one everything. And you can't stop what's already formatted, man. You know.
It's here.
It's gonna happen, man. You know, it's just a matter of if. You know, it's not a matter.
I feel like we in Revelations more than anything.
Oh, we are.
Hey, bro, I just seen that rabbi. You heard about that rabbi yet?
Oh, the one they think that he's the Antichrist?
Yeah.
What's that about? No, I haven't heard about that.
Yeah,
that's crazy, bro.
What's that about?
This cat, I guess he memorized the Torah, which is the first 5 books of the Bible, when he was a kid, and he just speaks out of the Torah, and then I guess he's healing people now. And he's really young, and all these elders come to him, and so he's becoming this powerful figure. And they're saying he might be the Antichrist because of his knowledge, the way he comes, like he's just a genius, you know.
It could be. It could be. I wouldn't doubt it.
Well, you got to remember.
I just saw that. Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, yeah, I just saw it yesterday.
Yeah, you gotta remember, man. That says many are called and few are chosen, man, and many of us are gonna be deceived, right? And not only that, like I said, it tells you to be on your P's and Q's, right? And basically, that's why I'm saying the first 5 books of the Bible, man, talk about the law. Let's just be honest, right? The first 5 books, you know. And since that time, the world has been conducting himself on how to, you know what I mean, make excessive laws as humans and society to live amongst each other and to abide by rules, you know. And that's where, you know, when what they say in the book, in the Christianity book, when, you know, Moses went up and got the law from the 10 commandments from Moses, came back, guess what? His people were already breaking the law, man. You know what I'm saying? And many people are going to use many other logistics and lawlessness and anything they want to worship to conduct their own immorality and their own belief, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why they want to change the laws now. You know, there's the laws to this, and like homosexuality, we're not talking bad about it. So YouTube, you know, put a pause on it. But I'm just saying, you know, the laws are always changing, and they're always they're always for every individual. You try to scrutiny and try to put it into where everybody has that same right, because where there's laws, there's rights at the same time. You know, where there's rules, there's also there's regulations at the same time, you know. And that's why since all these years, you know, the law has been arbitrated and followed by the law, by the commandments. Now, why would they go, and I know you guys probably heard this too, they have new laws that are coming out, right? The new Catholic Church is going out, they're making 10 new laws. Now, see, there's a difference between God's law and man's law. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. You know, and that's why laws were created to, you know, to govern people and to make sure that, you know, there's structure. You know, there's nothing wrong with law. Law brings structure. You know, in my house, you know, I have laws and rules right here that people got to, for my daughter, myself, my wife. Hey, don't do this, participate in this. And those are the rules and regulations. There's nothing wrong with laws, you know, but when you're breaking them, that's where it becomes a problem. And it could be anybody. You could be a police officer and breaking the law. That's wrong. You know what I'm saying? You could be a football player. You know what I'm saying? You could be black and then you break the law and, you know, it's wrong. You could be brown and you break the law, it's wrong. You know, it just seems like, you know, but in certain communities.
I think some police break the law every day in some way or another, but they know they can get away with it.
Yeah,
bro, they do.
What are you gonna do?
They do when they drive, when they park.
That's the difference right there. You know, they could get away with it. We can't. You know, they know. You know,
nah, they just don't get called out on it. That's all.
Right. They know it, so it's like, yeah, what are you gonna do? That's how they feel.
Hey, but I
they got that badge on all the time.
Hey, G-Lew, but like what you were saying earlier, yeah, I got into it. Me and my boy Julio with SDPD because okay, you know how you were mentioning the fourth waiver,
right?
So right here in Encanto, which is that's the neighborhood, and then right there it's close to Eastside Piru and Emerald Hills. Okay. So it's a hood area, right? So there's a family right there, and there's a couple dudes that are on parole, but there's a few that are not. And my boy knows the difference. So the cops pull up, and they got two dudes that are not fourth waivers. So my boy just says, "Hey, officer, I'm just letting you know you're violating his rights. Those two guys are not fourth waivers, so you need to let them go." And the cop tells him immediately, you know, step back, you're interfering, and tries to go with that. So I'm down the street with my girl watching this, right? And so Julio busts out the phone, and I tell my girl, "Oh man, here we go." So I start walking up, and then as I'm walking up, more cops come out. And man, these dudes, man, long story short, bro, they were so paranoid. We got into it with them. Even the sergeant was scary. Like they were twitching and anyways, man, I ended up talking with a cop on the phone because they called me. I said, "Yeah, I want to talk to somebody, man." I was like, and we stood there and we talked shit. They said they were gonna arrest us. They didn't do nothing because we knew like you said, we knew our rights. We knew what to say. We were filming. We were in front of my boy's house. So we, you know, they couldn't say you don't need to be here. Man, they were blocking the street. I called them out on all their BS. I said, look, what if an ambulance is coming right here? I said, there's elderly people here that need attention, and you guys are all blocking the street. There's like 20 cars. And then this one dude who got slick with me, I told him, "What's up, bro?" In front of all his in front of all the officers, man. I said, "What's up? What you do off duty, dog? You know, let's play some one-on-one. Let's do some jujitsu. What's up, man? You act hard right now because you're with your, you know, with everybody." And then this other dude too, he was staring. I was like, "What you looking at?" And he was like, "What? I'm not looking at you." I go, "Well, then what's up, man? Like, what the fuck?" And we got crazy with him, dog. I should request the video because it's all on video, for reals. And I'm that way, like you said, bro. If I see something wrong, man, I'm in that way, bro. I have risked my own.
That's how we need to be more opposed. I mean, if you want to get involved, if not, leave it alone. But we have more people sitting there recording someone else getting abused or whatever, instead of helping or stepping in or saying something. You know, that's what the problem is, I think.
Hey, I tripped out. Did you see that one where the officer lady is trying to stop the sergeant from beating the dude up, and he pushes her?
No.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
That was crazy, bro.
Yeah.
She tried to do what's right. See, there are good officers, man. But then what they do, they end up having to retire, or they end up being like and nobody helps them in the field.
That's probably what it is now. We have more of the other cops and less of those, even though they're probably still there, but the other ones overrule those dudes.
Hey, but you know, yeah, there's truth to what the other homie said too, though. There is a bigger agenda to everything, man, and that makes sense now too, you know. But it's scary, man. I just got pulled over a trip. I just went on a cross country, man. That's why I've been a little MIA. I went to Albuquerque, El Paso, and I got pulled over right there in Las Cruces, and it was two Mexican officers. They were cool though. They were cool. It was cool. It was quick. It was, you know, like I said, man. I'm always polite.
Let me ask you this, just to cut in right quick, because I want to touch on this and you go back. I didn't mean to cut you off, but what do you think about sometimes, just like Ice Cube said in that song After Police way back in the day, and now we see it more, or even like you said, Latino officers dealing with other, like sometimes they're worse than the white cops, right? Man, like Cube said, black police showing out for the white cops.
I was going to talk about that.
Let's talk about it, man.
Well, we just saw a little bit of that, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Last week, the dudes that killed them weren't white officers. Them was black dudes, bro. Black cops.
Yeah, they were black. And let me tell you,
that dude bad, homie.
Yeah, let me tell you something. That honestly tripped me out, bro, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I want to keep it real. You know, I'm customizing, just seeing the opposite. I'm used to seeing black, you know, white beating on the brown, or white beating on the black, you know, white disrespecting the other communities besides their own. And last week when I saw that, it took me back, and that's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't matter, you know.
Remember that Mexican cop? I don't know, about a year ago, just whooping on that dude. Remember, they had him handcuffed, and he was just.
And let me tell you something. Most of my experiences were, especially with my kind of people, we're awful. We're awful. We're the worst experience ever. I get more love from black and white, Asian, you know, police department. When it comes to Chicano or Mexican cops, it's just like, whoa, what the hell's going on here, dude? Like,
man,
hey,
I've been lucky.
I got to do extra or what? Go ahead, bro.
I've been blessed. No, I've been blessed with Raza, with Mexican cops. I've had issues with the Asian cops, man. And that's another one too that I got profiled, and I called and complained, and they moved them up, bro.
Hey, bro,
but
talk about it.
I used to work with Chief Sotelo, bro. He was a paramedic in Compton for 20 years, bro, in the 70s and 80s. That dude has so many stories, bro. And one of the stories was, I'll tell you about that, where these dudes beat up I don't want to say nationalities, but one nationality beat up the other nationality with baseball bats, and they were way smaller. And then when the police showed up, the police went to high school with the dudes that beat the dudes up.
Right.
So they didn't do nothing. And then you know, so Sotelo, he's the ambulance, but he was just like, bro, he goes, I've seen, and he goes, and these dudes were beat bad. He goes, these dudes were like hospitalized, broken bones, and they just let these guys go. And he goes, I was frustrated. He goes, but there was nothing you could do as a paramedic. You just gotta, like, if you say something, then, you know, like those dudes, like, so anyway, man, it's a trip. But he would tell me, man, like just all the crazy things he's seen all those years being a paramedic in Compton, bro.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, hey, let me tell you, let me give you my fair share again. You know, let me dive into that, bro. Okay. So,
why do they say that? Why do people? Spencer, why do they say like that in songs too? Because I've never had that issue. But why is it that are paramedics bad too?
I never had an experience with paramedics, to be honest with you. But the police brutality is real, man. Okay, and then, like I said, let me further my emphasis on that. Right? Okay. So you're conducting, you know, you're conducting surveillance, or you're just doing your regular routine, right? You're a regular officer. You're going to work. You're going to do your 12 hours. You put on the uniform, and now you're out in the black and white, right? Customize. Already know where to go, right? Let me tell you something. If your organization or affiliation that you know that's out there to be reckoned with, if you want some kind of you know, promotions, like you said, or you want to get the game recognized, you go to certain areas where you could find these criminals, right? Okay, so let's go back to what I'm saying. So the Pico Sheriffs and the Whittier Police Department knew where to go at a certain time at my time, right? They would come down, they get it all prepped out, a bunch of rookies, okay? And I remember them, right? We had Officer Pigarron, we had Officer Joe, we had McGuffin, and we had a lot of cops, right? Especially, you know, the best persons that you want to affiliate with is the gang unit, right? For us gang members, right? Because you want to get past the police department. You want to get past the regular police, the sheriffs. You want to talk to the gang unit, man, because they're the ones that are emphasizing and putting it down on you, okay? So these guys, every day, imagine every day conducting yourself. You go to work. Wow, I got to go to the certain gang area, and you got to do your protocol, right? You see us every day. Us as criminals too, we do the disrespecting, okay? Let me tell you, we don't make it any easier. We run from the cops. We throw stuff. We shoot at the cops now. Let me tell you, you know.
I think it's a mutual respect with, like they say, cops and robbers back in the day. But I mean, like you say, if you're in the life or whatever, it's a mutual respect because it's past mouth.
Like D West said, man, you know what I mean? I wasn't always a good boy. I was actually initiating the problem. I was not a law-abiding citizen. I was actually.
But it's still not an excuse, because the police, they're supposed to be the one in control, and
at any given chance from the 90s and before into the third eye came out, which is, you know, to me is the phone, you know, the camera, you know,
changed the game.
Since that came out, you know, I mean, there was fair game. If they catch you, bro, you're gonna get it. You know, it's like mom.
You already expected it. You already expected it. If you know if you run from them, they are gonna be mad if they catch you, and they go. You already know. That's why you're not trying to get caught.
Tell you people, man, it's like moms and pops, or when moms and pops, and when they gotta
go, gonna beat that ass, boy. Then take you to jail.
And you're breaking the rules, grandma gotta hold you. You're gonna get your ass whipped. You know what I mean? That's
sure.
Okay, so there was also a fair game where these cops were able to get their recognition. They were able to get promoted. All the cops in my generation that grew up, they all got promoted, bro. I'm serious. We used to have a cop Mexican. His name was Pigarron. We used to call him Pigarron. And we used to have this guy named Joe. He was buff. We used to call him Joe Buff. We used to have an officer called McGuffin. We used to call him McMuffin. So, and the reason why they knew that they knew that we were calling them and disrespecting them names, because when they used to raid the abandoned pads, we used to sleep in abandoned pads or hang out in abandoned. You're a gang member, you're on the streets. You know what I mean? The wheels fall off.
This is me, Pac-Man.
Yeah, you know.
This is me, Pac-Man.
Raid the pads. That's all they used to do. We knew they were coming, so we would start disrespecting their names and making those names on the walls. It's like Joe Buff.
Damn, you guys were really tripping that, huh?
They knew already. So when they used to get us, they used to treat us like they were training in county, right? They used to have like 20 of us, bro. And they used to line us up, take 10 hours, you know what I mean? Put our hands behind our back and walk us out, put like 20 gang members in 20 cop cars. You know, they used to go the whole 9 yards. They used to have the helicopter just, for hours, just wasting the gas and something, making a big.
Hey, what about hotboxing, bro? Hotboxing is fucked up.
Hotboxing, this is the way they used to get us in the summer, okay?
Bro,
so when they got a group of us, you know the cop car is hot, right?
It's hot as fuck.
They used to put your head on the engine, put your knees on. Everybody has to get checked. And you know how long that takes when you got like 10, 15 gang members? You're talking about at least 2 hours right there. And somebody most likely was going to jail, got caught with drugs, had warrants. And that's what I'm saying. So like G-Lew said, it's a gang of cops and robbers, bro. Okay? You got to be expecting it, man.
Yeah. Hey, I just remembered. Nah, you're right though. I did have a bad one with a Mexican, but he was a detective, Cesena. He's the one who busted most of my homies because that fool was like he would go undercover and drive in lowriders. Wow. And he had a big old brocha. So we let him get close and it'd be too late because we think he was just some OG and he was a fucking he was a detective.
Right.
He was doing his job.
That's his game. Yeah, that's his game.
They could have done it better, man. They could have educated. They could educate.
It was just like the movie. One time we got raided and they busted me in my Regal, right? Because at that time I just got shot, so I was on crutches. So all the homies were able to take off. They seen the cops coming down the alley. They got everybody. Everybody took off, but they got me, right? So what they did was like a movie. The cops all move over. I said, what? He goes, yeah, sit in the passenger seat. And guess what? He got on the Regal on the thing and he was driving around while the cop was like, behind us. But see, my homeboys already knew we were hit to the game because my homeboys were inside pads and they, we had people hiding us and they seen it like, oh, we seen the Hudas, driving around and you were in the car, dog. And I was like, yeah, homie, but we didn't have cell phones back then. There was no way to communicate. Things were a lot harder. Like G-Lew said, it was all about cops and robbers, man. We're the bad guys. They're the good guys. Supposedly, if they get a hold of you, they're gonna handle you. That's just the way it goes, man.
Hey, back in the day, the homies that were sophisticated, bro, they had the walkie-talkies, the two-way.
Yeah, we had those too. Yeah, we had
the only way. Yeah, that's the only way.
If you were a gang member, you couldn't go to your local police department and say, "Hey, I just got beat up."
Oh no!
They're gonna laugh at you.
But that's what I'm saying. But at the same time, why does it take
Rest in peace of Hodges? Go ahead, bro.
Why should it take an unnecessary beating or unnecessary, kill? You know what I mean? For police brutality, it shouldn't be like that. I mean, this is what this topic's all about. Police brutality is real. It's getting worse.
Well, that's what the one thing that young lady was saying though is that the police. Okay, so an officer's job is not judge and jury. They're just supposed to give you your court date. Or take you to jail if the offense you committed is a jailable offense. That's it. They're not supposed to criticize you, put you down, none of that. But it's turned into this, hey, you got to listen to me. I'm the boss right now.
But it's hard. It's hard, homeboy, especially if you're under
tricks they play.
Under the influence. If there's drugs, is there alcohol? You know, if the cops arrest you and you're drunk, guess what, dog? You're gonna. I'm gonna act stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, but check this out. This is another thing they do. They're tricky now. They make trump up your chart. Like you may be arrested for one thing or thinking you're arrested for this. When you get down there and then they read you your charges, you got like 7 charges, bro, that you don't even know. Because you know they at the end of the day, they just want a case, you know what I mean, or something to stick. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like now you have all these charges you didn't even know anything about, but this is what you're charged with. So it's harder to fight it now.
In California, spitting is an assault now, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's biological warfare, dog. Because you're when you spit, it's bro, it's serious offense, dog.
You can't even spit at anything.
Biological warfare.
Not to say that's
wow,
do that upon anybody. Crazy. But to somebody to call the cops on you, you could get arrested for spitting on somebody. Yeah, it's real, bro.
But you don't want to be spit on. Spat, however, you know what I mean? That's like that's bad.
Or getting gas. Yeah, that's like when they gas COs and all that, man.
I feel the same way because nowadays you don't know what, you know what I mean? So if you getting spit on, period, is a definitely a violation, period. That's like getting slapped on. You don't want to get spit on. You know what I mean? But let alone today's age, like you said, biological warfare that you don't.
Hey, what do you think about this, man? This is what I think. I think, and it'll probably never happen, but I think before you become a police officer, like part of the training, you should be cuffed, sit in the back of a freaking car, go through everything that somebody will go through before, because that's the excuse that they say when they tase you. Okay, so I've been pepper sprayed, and when I got pepper sprayed, dog, it's right here. He stands right, and he doesn't just spray one. He's like, does the can all in your face, and you can't do it. You got to just take it. There's no water. You just got to deal with it, right? I ended up getting used to it too because we would spray the dogs, and then the mist would come into my face. So I got used to breathing it. I got used to getting hit with it. But then they got to taser you too if you want to carry the taser. And I didn't get shot with it, but they put the roach clips, one on my shoulder and one on my hip, and then they hit me with it. If you've never been hit with a taser, man, it feels like somebody like I had a headache for a day because like your bones get rattled, bro. Like you're electrocuted, bro, straight up. You feel like you've been body slammed, homie. If you ever got body slammed in a fight, like if somebody ever picked you up and knocked the wind out of you, it feels like that, bro. And I only got like 3 seconds. A normal person, if you get hit, you're gonna go 5 seconds. And then the baton, you don't get hit with a baton, obviously, but you do training. But trip on this. I had a police officer that was a 25-year veteran who never did any of it. And he told them this was his logic, and it made sense. He said, okay, how come I can carry a gun? I don't have to get shot to carry my gun. Why you got to do this? And the reason they say that you should do it, experience it, so that you won't just do it to somebody, like, you know, without knowing what it feels like. And if you go to court, a lawyer's going to say, well, do you know what it feels like to be tased? And you can say, yes, I do. And because they have been tased, then it's a true answer. But it's still to me, that's not the same as being handcuffed, being put in a car, being mistreated. Because in reality, man, now they're doing it to like senior citizens. They're doing it to everybody. And then, like even you said, the race and the age don't even matter, man.
It's all bad. That goes both ways with these cops and with these little criminal, so-called whatever they are, man. They don't have no respect for no one no more, bro.
Oh yeah, the young bucks. Yeah, man.
That shit is terrible, man. I hate to see that, man. It's like no moral. There used to be rules in this shit, at least. You know what I mean?
That's the thing right there, crazy. Bro. You know, that's what I'm saying. That's why the law was implemented, bro, you know, to conduct and to protect, you know, the citizens of the community. I mean, I wrote something down too. I'm going to read it to you guys. It's crazy. I forgot about this. But, you know, it's like saying this. Who created the police? Where does policing come from? And I found this right here. It says the first policing organization was created in Egypt in about 3300 BC. The empire divided into 42 administrative jurisdictions. Don't you know there's jurisdictions, right? You got sheriff's jurisdiction.
Yeah.
So the federal
Put him on mute right quick.
security. So you gotta understand, man. You know, if you're in a place, there's calls that are every day, especially downtown LA, that you need policing. You know, you need somebody watching out and defending those people, the law-abiding citizens, because there's people out there that are ready and preparing to break laws. I mean, that's just the way it goes, man. So policing has been here to govern and to monitor people for their bad deeds. I'm all fair game with that. But when it comes to brutality and using excessive force, that's where it becomes a problem, man.
But obviously, it's a thin line between those two, and I don't think we'll ever get to understand or get a understanding on that, man, because the line is so thin as to where now, like you said, we appreciate the good cops, but it's harder and harder to find those good cops, or not even only good cops, but maybe to step in. It's harder for them. I'm sure it's like they're the minority now, so it's going to be hard for them to get heard or do more of the right things when it's only one of you and maybe 10 of them, you know, and maybe one department.
Well, tell me this. I mean, how about the community just follow the law? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that would be more simple. I think, and that's why I said, even going back, that's gotten far more away. Because back in the day, even that's why I said it was a mutual respect where even the criminals knew how to conduct themselves because they knew, you know what I mean? So it was more of a mutual respect, you know, at least. Now there's none of that. Now there's none of that.
I remember the local police department used to give stuff away on Christmas, give turkeys away on Thanksgiving. They used to have fundraisers. They had Boys and Girls Club. You were actually able to go on patrol and follow the arbitracts of police departments and so forth. You could be a junior officer and so things. There was many things that you could have got involved in back in the days, and it just made it harder because, you know, all the laws that are being broken and the people now who are conducting these violent crimes, man, it's just crazy. How could you not have 10 cops to 1 when a homie's holding 2 AK-47s, you know what I'm saying, with 3 clips, bro, you know, and ready to do harm on somebody for no reason.
And I understand. That's why I say too. I understand too. That's why I said again. I have to just go back and say it's a thin line. That's why I say it's a thin line between both, even street and cops on how they have to be. I don't know, especially in certain areas. Like if you're a cop, definitely in a certain gang, like certain areas, of course they're gonna be a little more on edge, and you know. So, but like I said again, it's a thin line because, like the homie said earlier, that still is no excuse though. So where is the law? Where is the line drawn?
I mean, if that was I'm pretty sure every cop will probably want to go to what city they want to do. You know, I mean, me, if I was a cop, I want to go to Wyoming and in the middle of nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
But that's a problem too, where more of the police now are put in areas that are foreign to them. They know nothing about these areas.
That's
so
true.
Of course, it's already a disconnect. Already, it's a conflict of interest already.
Thinking that with the environment, the community he grew up at is the same community and the environment where he's at. You can't take a guy all the way from freaking somewhere far, dog, and put him over there in South Central, bro. You nothing.
Exactly, and that's what's going on. So of course they're on edge. They're, like he said, that a lot of them are scared or scary. So they're it's different how they approach and deal with people because they're already on edge. Like you said earlier, sometimes like these cops, some of them are really scary though, but they can't act like that.
Yeah, and they're at their worst when they're all together, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so the way it works, man, is like when you're a patrolman, which is your first 2 years, that's the worst one to get pulled over by, because in the first 2 years is when you gotta prove yourself as far as writing tickets, citations, arrests, because that's when you learn. After you pass patrolman, then you don't necessarily have to. But even then, like I said, there's the spirit of the law and the letter of the law that the officer is supposed to exercise, and that goes back to like what I was saying with how did he catch the person doing it? Was it an accident? Was it a mistake? Was it they weren't paying attention? That's up to the officer. He could be a jerk and be like, no matter what, I'm gonna give a ticket. Like, for example, here's another trippy thing. When I work with the officers, they got cliques. The motorcycle cops, they call them meter maids, and a regular cop does not see them as a cop. They hate those guys.
Yeah,
they see firefighters as superheroes. Oh, those are the superheroes. They get credits, man. I can't stand fire. And I was just tripping out listening to these guys. And then detectives talk shit about patrolmen. And homicide.
It's like the military branch, bro.
It's military. Yeah, they disrespect the Navy and think they're soft. Air Force.
So
Marines,
if there's a device
Army
already implemented, and there's our diversity already, especially when you have color coming in and you're trying to follow the organization and the creed, coming into, whether if you're a police officer or a servant or EMT, fire department, you're already going against the grain because they already implemented division, bro. They already implemented segregation. So that already is implemented first before the training and everything even matters, dude. And that's the crazy part. That's like gang members. Our first resistance is the effing cops, F the police, bro. You know why? Because
my homie just got stabbed and he has that tatted on his leg, bro. And he said they thought he was passed out and he could hear them and they were just talking smack.
Oh, wow.
They were like, look at this motherfucker, because they seen it blasted on his leg.
Wow.
And yeah, bro. They were he said they were talking about his knee. They're like, look, this fool has ashy ass knees, and they were just talking shit. He was like, man, but yeah, bro, he got it tatted on his leg, and they were like, he said he's had issues over that too when they seen it, like when he was busted, like, oh yeah.
I'm sure.
I mean,
like you said, the cops are just regular people, but like you said, they get into these positions and
then the clicks, but
power.
So then you got. Yeah, so look, there was an officer named Rhodes in Chula Vista. He was a motorcycle cop, and he was famous because he ticketed anybody. Other cops, that's another thing too. Cops usually
somebody just got called for that. I seen something in the news. Go ahead.
It's called a common courtesy. So they even teach this. Check this out. It's insane that they teach this, but they usually say, okay, if you pull over another officer, it's up to you, but you should practice common courtesy and give him a break. And it's like, wait a minute, shouldn't they be held at a higher standard for committing a violation that we enforce instead of getting, you know what I mean? And I don't know, bro, but that's what they usually do. Well, this guy didn't care. This guy's like, nah, I don't care if you're a cop. I don't care if you're a grandma. I'm going to give you a ticket. And so all these other cops would always talk smack about him. They were like, oh, Rhodes and this and that. But he didn't care, bro. He didn't care. He stood his ground. And I mean, I don't think it's right. I think he should have, but at least he did his own thing. He wasn't pressured. He wasn't bullied. He stayed there for years. He did his job. That was his job. But again, to me, you can't be a robot either. Every situation is different. If you just ticket everybody, then you're just being a jerk, man. It's like.
That's why I think honestly too, maybe these police department, like you said, they're not robots, bro. They have feelings and emotions, man. So I don't think they have really a chance, where they're able to release and let go of what they've seen or what they're, accustomed to on a daily basis, man. I say they have one of the highest, like, divorce rates the military does. Anything that has to do with, like, services and so forth, man, it's just like it's.
Oh yeah, the police have the one of the highest divorce rates for sure.
I'm sure of it. I'm sure.
Suicide rates.
Do you think the different factions, like we were speaking about, they talk to detectives, street cops, sheriffs, motorcycle cops, bicycle cops, whatever. Like Nate said, those motorcycle cops are the worst. So you think different cops in different factions or whatever they do take their shit more serious or more assholes because of what they do? Like, how do you think that breaks down?
Yeah, man, they move around. They figure out where they want to go and where they want to be. Like, I was blessed to work with a lot of veterans that worked on the West Side, and they never promoted and they never moved up because they didn't play the politics. They were good cops for the most part that I know, and just from talking to them. And like you said, bro, trip out. The people that would move up would be the people that there was a sergeant who got a DUI because he passed out and crashed. He got promoted to lieutenant. Wow. Then you got another guy did the same thing. He got promoted. And then back at that time, they were pushing this agenda that they're pushing now. And so if you were LGBTQ, you were getting that job. So right now there's a whole bunch of
you open up a whole nother can. Hold on. Let me ask you about that since you mentioned it. Because you just open up a whole nother can. How is that going on now inside the police? Do you have a lot of LGBT more like more people coming on the force? And how is that interacting with your old school cops that don't like that. Like, but it's more of that company. How does that work right now?
Man, they at least when I was there, because I haven't done the job for I did it for 10 years, but it's been 7 years, so it's already a while back. But even then, yeah, you had guys that you could tell they would be real short with the women. They would treat them differently if they were like a higher rank, and female, and then Captain Miller, she was a female. San Filippo, they were cool. San Filippo was lesbian. She had a wife and everything. She's like one of the very first lesbian lieutenants in the sheriffs of San Diego. But yeah, at that time, if you were, let's say there was 3 people going up for the position, if you happen to be one of those in that category, you would more than likely get the job. And that's what I heard straight from officers, that were seeing it themselves and trying to move up, and they felt like they were stuck because it was like a political thing, like affirmative action type stuff. But it's like, oh, we got to make sure we're diverse, and which is good too, but I think it's by qualification, man, straight up.
Right.
When it comes to being an officer,
I started noticing, the LGBTQ or homosexuality police officers, like in the late 90s.
Homosexuality police officers. Just say LGBT now, Big D, because everything else gonna sound, offensive now.
Hey, Big D.
He said the homosexuality.
You ever get pulled over by one of those officers?
Man, dog. Hey, just say LGBT, homie.
Don't strike us on this one. I've been fair.
We got to call it. We got to call that prison guard. Who is?
Let's go.
Yo, what up? What's up, homie?
Oh, we got the guard on there?
Yeah, we got the prison guard. Who is this right here? Can you hear me? We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Take your speaker off mute. Check your mute.
I don't know. We can't hear you, bro.
Oh, but man.
That says the prison guard is in his description. I don't know, man.
Hey, he got a new channel. Yeah, that cat. I was watching him, but then he started saying some things, and
you familiar with him?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I seen him once.
That might have been a setup then. That might have been a setup. Might have been a reason we couldn't hear you, bro. I don't know, homie. But please,
he probably wants to jump in and give his 2 cents.
Hey, I don't mind if it's all I don't care what side you're on, as long as it's respectful, homie. As long as it's respectful, we can talk.
I respect the people here, but let me go back to saying LGBT community. I started noticing them like in the late 90s, early 2000s, man. So they have made their way into the field. Okay. And by all means, that's good. It shouldn't be any discrimination amongst any people who want to serve the law, right? There's their thing. But I also know that they're very egotistic too. You know what I'm saying? They are very.
I mean, the thing comes with power, like with everything, even preachers, homie. Whoever holds that power eventually, that's again a thin line. Who can handle that power? Right.
That's what
being humble.
No matter what community you come from or background, you should be able to handle your responsibility. Let's just say, because
but
like Pop said earlier, and like we said, man, everybody. We're all humans, and that by the end of the day, man, they come home, they take the uniform, and they're just regular people, just like anybody and everybody else. Just with
but some don't. That's another thing too. Yeah,
and so forth. Does it make it any better than me and you? Hey, you're ex-cop. Or you don't work with police department no more.
What's the difference?
I don't roll with the gangster community no more. In some sense, you know what I'm saying? Not in all sense, But in all reality, man, it should be tolerated. Let's just say that, there's no way that these people should be coming out of here and conducting something, taking advantage of the system or, the political realm for their narrative. That's just totally wrong. That's like telling us like, oh, when we were young, nobody really taught us right or wrong. We were not being the robbers or the criminals because we didn't get taught. Some of us didn't have parents. Some of us didn't have a house to live in.
You're a product of your environment or your community.
Yeah. So, a lot of these people were brought up in homes and with mothers and fathers and so forth, and they played the cops and robbers, and they wanted to be a first responder. They wanted to go to the military. They wanted to be a fireman. They wanted to be a policeman, until they see the inside of the street and see how humans can treat each other And then they got a slap to reality and say like, damn, man, are these people? I got to police these kind of people. Yes, you do. So you know what you signed up for. You got to be prepared for it, man. Because if you ain't ready and you're in the place where it's hot, you're gonna get burned, man. Straight up.
Yeah, definitely. Whatever you do, you have to know what you signed up for. And
right. You can't be a truck driver. Yeah, you can't be a truck driver and say, "Oh, I want to be a truck driver." And as soon as you get into the field, you're like, "Oh, hell no, I can't drive all day." Like, not made for everybody. Policing is not made for everybody, man.
Okay, well, look, we're gonna wrap it up in a minute. I'm gonna I see the prison guy back, but I'm gonna ask this question before we wrap it up. Do you think, because the main thing we're talking about police brutality, mainly the bad cop, and again, that kind of ties in with our communities, how we grow up, what communities we live in, and we get it the worst. We know that. Do you ever think it would be, and I'm gonna go to that prison guy, but I'm gonna ask this before we wrap up. Do you ever think it'll be a time where we come to some type of common ground or agreement where the police and the communities on a level ground will respect one another, or this police brutality is not anymore? You ever think it'll be a time in our lifetime?
Go ahead, San Diego. You go first.
I think only if if it's changed to where the police report to like a council of the local community. That's the only way. Otherwise, if they're not accountable to like the locals in each city where they police, then that's the only way, I think. Otherwise, no.
I mean, but that's the way they are kind of recognized. They have to report to the Chamber of Commerce. They got to report to your local city council. They're run by the city, right? And they're run by us. So I think honestly, there should be a little bit more, man. There should be a little bit more background checking, more follow-ups. I think just like a gun and everything that they register their car. I mean, all their radar guns and all that. Their minds should be reevaluated every year too. To tell you the truth, so get some psychological. Maybe they seen something throughout 6 months ago and they have to release it or let it go or talk about it. You know what I mean? So they could, get the help and the right things for to make sure that this person still can conduct
stress relief. Yeah, stress relief for sure.
So with a little bit more psychological background or being evaluated every year, I think it'll be helpful. They have to do gun registrations, they have to do radar registrations every year or 2 or 3 years. As a humanistic, they should be evaluated, I think, yearly or every 6 months, to be telling you the truth, man.
Yeah.
All right, check it out. Before we continue, we got the prison guy here.
What's up, fellas?
What up, homie? How you doing?
How's it going, man? Good meeting you guys.
Doing great.
Cool. What we got going on right here?
Well, we're talking about police brutality first and foremost, but we opened the conversation up and we've been talking about an array of things, dealing with the police or dealing with the inner community or how one or another is done, excessiveness, is there good cops, bad cops. So it's a whole range of everything dealing with police brutality and just everything dealing with that. So what do you got to add to this, bro?
Police brutality. We talking about like what we see on the news, what we see like on
talking about what we dealt with. It's not all about the news. What is your situation? Have you dealt with the police? Have you your own experience
or seen it?
Just period. Yeah.
Well, I worked in a prison. Keeping it real with you guys, whenever we used force, right? I'm a previous prison guard.
You're a correctional officer.
Correct.
All right. Can you state like what areas you worked at? What I ain't gonna say where specifically, but like what state?
Hold up.
Are you California? Are you
okay? What state? Yeah.
Cali.
You gotta understand, brother. Every state is run different.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. California.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
you got something to talk about then. Let's talk about it.
California Department of Corrections. It's 16 years total. I resigned December 1st, 2 months ago, because the politics, the BS, it was too bad, too crazy. I resigned.
On what side? On far
green side.
Okay.
Green
side. And you said how many years? 10 years?
16.
16. Okay.
Hey, one more question, because I know there's correctional officers and then there's also department officers, or should Deputies. I say, right? Can you state what branch you work for, kind of, or were you correctional, or were you police, or
no? So yeah, you're talking about deputies in county. No, I was state prisons. So state prisons.
Okay.
So dudes get booked. They go through county.
Big house.
Now they're in the big house. They're in the big house.
Okay, because I got a cousin that's a CO.
Yeah, that's a big house, man. It's a state prison, and it's been wild. I came in 2006. Things have changed. Things have changed.
Hold on. One more thing I want to add to that. Since he says difference in CO deputies, county, and state prisons, tell us briefly what is the difference between or what would be the difference, as we know, but for people who may not know, between someone who works in a county jail opposed to a prison, as far as a correctional officer or a deputy.
So if you join a sheriff department, right, they say you got to work the jails first before you can be on the streets pulling people over and fighting crime.
Right.
So that's the jail, right? You get locked up, you get arrested by a cop, you get taken to the department, and you go through county fingerprints. I know this because I've been arrested myself a couple times, believe it or not.
As an officer,
I believe it.
As an officer,
one time before officer, twice while I was in the department. Yeah, man,
okay.
I was wild. I was wild. So yeah, that's county jail, right? State prison, big house. Police brutality in California, right? You guys know the big gangs, how they run organizations. If we use force, it's because somebody had it coming. Like, let's say we got assaulted and we react. That's going to be a reaction. That's going to be, did I blatantly see people going around slapping dudes around? No. Did excessive force get used? Yes, it did. Not every time, but they get caught. Like, those people get caught. There's policies, there's procedures. That's what the cops on the streets are going through right now. They're going through that transition. Corrections have already been through that.
Okay, and because I had my experiences, like I said, in being locked up in the California, we'll say counties, okay? And I seen excessive force myself. Like I said, your story. Yeah, and like you said, you're right. It was based on certain reasons. A lot of it was because the homie was asking for it. But then again, it could have been handled by one or two COs or deputies or so forth, not 5 or 7 or 8, because it does get extensive. And in the end of those outcomes, who gets the bad of it? I've seen people get busted up, broken ribs, busted nose, use excessive force. So, I'm not saying that, that you haven't experienced that type of, brutality. I'm pretty sure you saw a lot of things. But in this side, I see some stuff too. Like, hey, bro, I saw this. And I ain't saying you're a liar, and I'm pretty sure you ain't saying I'm lying. It's just a matter of, excessive force period is wrong. You should know that, man. And,
100%.
And coming from what you were saying, I'll let you go and further what you were saying about, your experiences.
I agree with you, dude. So yeah, being on that side and then being on this side, nobody wants unnecessary violence. Right. Nobody wants it. We don't want it. You guys don't want it. There's measures in between, right? But that's like, it does. Do people get out of line on your side? Yes. Do people get out of line on my side? Yes. But it's the job of the OGs to pull those idiots or youngsters back and reel them in and give them a checking. And I don't think you guys realize that
that goes for you guys too, right?
Correct. That's the difference in prison, right? The prison guards opposed to county is way different, right? On the scales, it's about respect.
Yeah, prison
it's about respect more, both ways.
But I can see it. So the cops are dealing with this shit on the streets. Now you're gonna see more police officers pull their partner in and say, "Hey, don't fucking do that. Don't put me on blast like that. Don't put me in a bad spot." But you're gonna see it. We're just seeing the transition. Yeah, it happens. It happens.
Right. Do you ever think that they'll have correctionals or COs have cameras too in the future?
Oh, dude, we're the first ones. Donovan prison. We got the body worn cameras.
Okay,
that was crazy.
Do you think that helps or doesn't?
Helps. Yes, it helps.
Okay,
it helps.
I think basically what we're trying to look for is accountability on both sides. Would you agree on that?
I 100% agree, man. I left the department because I got frustrated. But believe me when I tell you, I was schooling these youngsters, man. I used to snatch them up in my office. I was a lieutenant, right? Okay. I went to sergeant, lieutenant. But yes, and that's one of the reasons for my channel, man. If we just people like you, people like me I
gotta check you out.
Yeah,
can school these youngsters on both sides and say, knock off the BS, because we've seen how ugly it gets.
Right. Because in the end of the day, everybody's
that's one thing we can agree on.
Wants to go to, right? And, you know, like I said, my family member, they just want to come home and provide and have the best for their family. It's not any different than anybody else, but you got to understand there's two variations of life fields out there, man. You know, you got the, like we've been saying all night, you got the cops and robbers, man. And, you know, when you have people that grow up in the neighborhoods and know nothing more, and then, you know, our label later on as, you know, we end up being the bad guys because, you know, people with law have a badge and they conduct themselves not being the bad guys, but they do bad things. You know what I'm saying? We don't do necessarily all bad things. There's some things we do good in the neighborhood too. But since we're labeled as people from the streets, you know, it's a bad thing. Nobody wins on an all around, you know what I mean, the circle of life, man. It's crazy.
One thing I agree on that you said, and I think we all agree on because we said this earlier, is that we're on common ground about the youngsters, man. Like someone has to be in, we have to, and I don't know, I know that's easier said than done, right? But somehow we have to do better at guiding the youngsters in the future, man, because the future is not looking good right now. Not all, but I mean, when it comes to certain things, we see the heinous stuff that's going on. The youngsters don't have obviously any guidance and they don't respect anything. And we got to change that because it goes deeper than just the streets and the things they're doing. Now these youngsters don't even respect their parents. Like they don't respect anyone. Yeah. We don't. That's not good, bro.
And it's not all the police department's law and their fault either, because you got hardworking men and women and just single parents that are out there trying to conduct and just provide a life for their children. But if the kids are not being raised, you know, the streets get them and, you know, they swallow them up. And, you know, that's something that's hard to train a CO or deputy or even a sheriff department unless you were raised in the streets, unless you were raised in that type of environment, then you could get, like, you know, you get an understanding. But in most parts, it's not working like that. We're not raised in a white picket fence and, you know, Beverly Hills or so forth, man. Things are a lot totally different. And I think that's the misconception. There's more things and programs that I think that need to be provided, you know, like back in the days, Boys and Girls Clubs, you know, just taking the kids out so they won't be introduced to the streets, so they won't have problems with the police department and you know, going to jail and so forth, man. That's what I think, man.
No, you're right, dude. And I never was judgmental, right? I told you I got arrested myself. I suffered through my own demons, man. I had my own past. Nobody's perfect, but I understand growing up in the streets and a gang. That is a lifestyle. That is a way, right? It wasn't the way that I went, but it is a way. Like you said, cops and robbers. So yeah, dude, more people like us with common heads and spreading that voice will, I guarantee you it's already getting out there, man. It's getting out there.
Right. I think it took a lot with a change too. Like I could speak for myself. Like I have changed, you know, dramatically, and now I have a family, and you know, it's still hard for me as a person to call cops, you know what I'm saying? But I know, you know, I teach my wife and I teach my daughter, you know what I mean? Like, hey, if you need something to protect, that's why police are here, to help, you know, protect those that can't protect themselves. I think that's why the law is made in one shape or form. But for me personally,
that's the part of the law I respect all the way, because like you said, something we need. Yeah, that's why I just go back to, even like I said, street dudes or whatever, back in the day was different. It was a mutual respect. So stuff didn't spill over as much as it should. But like you said, now police are needed in different aspects to protect those who can't be protected, man. Because the people even in the streets before used to protect those that couldn't be protected. Now it's those dudes.
That's why they were.
Now they're the ones committing crimes on those people. So it's all, you know. So we definitely need police, homie. You know, it's just unfortunate that it's that bad now.
Yeah, I got a question. Do you know why you think there's a lot of police shootings and or police brutality and killings? Can you give an emphasis on that? Maybe your opinion?
Why the cops are shooting the bad guys, or why the bad guys are shooting the cops?
Or just police brutality, or you know how cops are just misconducted.
Oh, I'll tell you what it is, man.
Can you give us, and I know this is probably going to be kind of hard because it's California, but I'm talking maybe as an overall, as a law, you know, a person that's been behind the law badge, you know, maybe give your, you know, your point of view.
I'm a straight shooter, right? So you're going to hear it. Things that I've seen, right? It's going to be lack of experience. Lack of experience meaning you got a nerd, you got somebody that's just like a school smart, book smart person. They're getting thrown to the wolves, the streets. The streets are mean. You know what I mean?
We're correct a little bit what we were saying earlier. Okay.
So that's one. The training, they're not properly trained. So these dudes, you know, they're going for their gun instead of going for their
shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah.
Communication skills, right? They don't have that. They don't have, like, if they see a guy with a knife, can a guy with a knife kill you? Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
That's what I said earlier. I was like, yeah.
It can, right? But if you know how to move, juke, do all kinds of crazy things, you can probably get away with something. You know what I mean? I'm not saying jeopardize your safety, but hey, just blasting somebody, it varies.
Bro, it's
and that's times like again, hold on, not to cut you off, Big D. Like we said, when someone has a knife, that's when you can use, even if you have to use force, that's an instance where you can shoot someone in the leg or do something just to subdue them, opposed to shooting to kill them. And that's what they do. Right. I don't get that part when someone has a knife.
I mean, they got tasers. You know, I know some people are on drugs hard, and it might take 2 or 3 shots. But
thank you, Margo.
You know, maybe shoot for the leg first, maybe.
We can't shoot for the leg because they don't train us that.
That's what he said earlier. They shoot.
I told
you said that earlier. Yeah, he said that. You just confirmed it.
So cops are only going to do what they're trained, right? What they're trained, because if they're outside their scope of training, they're going to get held accountable.
Wow.
But they're going to say, where did you learn how to do that? We didn't teach you that.
Wow.
You can't be doing all that crazy stuff.
That's deep. That's deep.
Okay, so is there a method, or can we find some kind of trail where we could stop all these police shootings, or brutality? Because police shooting is also a way of brutality. The domestic on individuals. Is there a way where we can? How can we move forward where we don't have to shoot or beat up an individual by 5 cops on public TV? I mean, what can we do?
So, working in a prison,
get the trust of the people again.
Working in a prison, you don't have guns. You don't have guns. You got your hands. You got these right here, right? What more importantly, you got your mouth and your mind. Communication, right? Communication is massive. You can bring a dude that's highly irate down, calm him down. Or with your words, you can bring that dude up and send him off the charts.
Wow.
Disrespecting him, putting him on blast in front of his homies, dude's gonna have to act.
Yeah.
It's gonna have to take off. So words, right? Communication. These cops, I'm not saying all of them, but the communication lacks the mental health. Are you good?
Oh yeah, he's not okay. Go ahead, bro. I'm just trying to see if my homie he going through some things over there. Go ahead, bro. Sorry about that.
I hope he's good. But Donovan prison, the mentally ill inmates. I didn't like working around that population. Those dudes are nuts. The ones that are really nuts. And it's sketchy because they will go off on you for no reason. But there's ways where you can calm them down also, man. It's just you have to establish that. These officers are not establishing that, nor do they have. They're dealing with civilians and bad guys. Prison, we're only dealing with bad guys, right? They're in prison.
There's no in between.
So I think that too, like they don't know. They don't know how to flip that switch. They don't know how to. They're just going nuts.
It sounds like to me, not to cut you off, that it goes hand in hand again when we're speaking. Say like when you're in the county as an inmate, like you said, there's really no rules and regulations in place. That's where everyone's turned up. It's not really, but when you go to prison, you have to follow and abide by certain rules. A lot of different stuff. So it seems kind of the same way to some extent on both ends.
So I have not commented on that video that you guys are talking about, the 5 cops and they killed that one guy. I haven't because I don't want to stir the pot or be political. But since this seems like a perfect platform and an environment, man, if that was prison, we would have immediately subdued him, taken him to the ground, and immediately put him in cuffs. Would it seem? From what I saw in the video, and even my wife, she's like, "Man, they're just beating him up. Like they're just
personal,
holding him up, punching,
holding him up, and just beating him down. Like that's what I said. My main thing was 5 or 6 cops should have. I know he resisted and all that, but you guys should have been able to subdue this young little guy. Right?
Don't matter, man.
It takes that one act that just was publicized everywhere, and it labeled all police officers again.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, prison guard.
Yo.
Hey, did you take verbal judo? You ever heard of that?
Well, I took it, but I was really good at it, man. Really good at it. Really.
Yeah, you look like you look like you know some stuff, homie. Prison guy.
I don't mean to toot my own horn, bro. I learned the hard way a lot. I learned the hard way a lot.
Now, because it's something that I took back in the day that they don't teach anymore, and that's what that is. It teaches you how to talk people down, and they don't teach that anymore. You know what I mean?
Another thing you guys have to understand, man. These police agencies and corrections, the administration sucks. The higher ups suck. They're all about kissing ass and brown nosing. They're not focused on the problem.
The street, they don't care.
People,
they don't care.
We could agree, just like politics, everything else, it's people, bro.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. Yeah,
it's who you put in charge, man. It's some straight up stuff. If you guys ain't get educated, man, for all you people that are gonna watch this later on or so,
that is deep.
Make sure you watch this deep because you're getting real statements right here from real individuals that come from both sides of the street.
Hey, prison guard, I'm gonna follow you. Follow me too, dog.
Do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that is crazy.
I'm glad Denise. Shout out to Denise who hooked this up. Thank you, Denise. This was needed. This conversation.
Yeah. Whenever you guys want to shoot the shit, man, or have these types of conversations, these conversations need to be had.
Well, look, check this out. I don't know if you've seen my video, but I did a review of this. This guy was not only a SWAT commander, he was the quartermaster at the range and the head of the de-escalation department, and he shot his neighbor's dog, bro, for killing a chicken in front of the senior citizens and 5-year-old, 6-year-old kids, bro.
Wow.
I mean, it's insane, but that's why I've been talking. I'm like, what's going on with these police that they think that they could just do whatever? And the worst part is that he did it because his wife told him. His wife goes, kill it, and he just smoked it. It's crazy. You should check it out, man. It's out of control.
Okay, I got another.
That's on your channel.
Yeah, I got.
Go ahead. We gotta wrap it up. Go ahead, Big D.
Yeah, I got one more, man. Okay, so I know prison guards are affiliated in some things. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say what or if. You know, how much of it? Like, you know, we're keeping it real, right? You know, that's what I say. If you don't know me, prison guard, follow me. I have a channel too, Big D, keeping it real. We come together. You know, me and my boy right here, man. This is his platform. Sure. We work together and we try to do these kind of topics and, you know, trying to shed light on these, you know, these things that acquire and that happen on an everyday life, man. Like you said, it's only going to take us, you know, keeping it real and being honest about certain things. But like I said, my question is how much would a deputy, you know what I mean, or correctional officers get involved in certain things? Because a lot of things are even disruptive in that part of the field too, as correctional officers. You know, there's things how they get in there, you know,
or how does that even start? How does one even get to where he's doing these type of things?
In a briefly way.
So that's like a dirty cop. That's a dirty cop, right? You're either gonna get flipped or you were dirty from the start, right? But yeah, I never did that. Twice in my career, they did ask me. I took it as disrespect. I took that as disrespect the same way I wouldn't go up to a dude and say, "Hey, give me information. Give me information on who's who on the yard."
Yeah, they try to single you. Yeah, I was one of those guys.
But we knew who was gonna get beat up amongst themselves. So sometimes we know you guys will tell us, "Hey, we need to handle something." Okay, then handle it, right? Because it keeps the peace.
Self-governing.
Governing. That's what I was saying earlier. You got to govern. You got to be governed, right? That's what we're
self-govern. That's the best way, and that's the way it should be. And it used to be like that in the neighborhoods, but then that's what happens when the big homie gets locked up. Then there's
no more.
If you guys ever see Man Apart with Vin Diesel, watch that movie.
Sir. Yeah,
that explains it. That's the truth right there.
Yeah. So before I resigned, since we're on this subject, I was a lieutenant on the yard. There was an OG that walked in, an inmate. He had a Rolling 60s tattoo on his arm. Kind of faded out, dude, with an OG. And I said, Rolling 60s, huh? And he goes, yeah, man, a long time ago. I said, what's up with these youngsters, man? What's up with these young? He goes, man. He's like, it's like we left the neighborhood and nobody left them the rule book. Right. And I'm like, that's exactly what happened, man. That's exactly
what happened.
But that could be the same thing for us, too, as a cops, as in the green.
Right.
All the OGs of veteranos, they bound. They ain't trying to deal with it. Yes. And now you got these young, blind cops, youngsters.
So it's a new generation. of both sides. A new
Everywhere.
generation of cops and robbers. A new
Everywhere.
way of dealing with things.
Like you said, both of them don't really have the both of them don't. Neither one of them really have the.
Right.
You know what I mean? The real rules or the real structure or anything.
Right. So that's why you're acquiring and you've seen all these fatal shootings, police brutalities, you know, cops, you know, that's pretty crazy. Wow.
Hey, but to put you guys up on game though, to make you guys feel a little better, trust me, I was yanking these youngsters chained back and scolding them in the background. We're not going to scold our people in front of you guys. It makes sense. We're not going to do that. But in the back, oh fuck yeah, I'm gonna yell at somebody. I'm gonna snatch them up because you're not gonna fuck off the program. You're not gonna
remember that program. When you take those phones off and the TVs off and all that, oh man, bro,
it happens.
You're gonna get it, bro. You're gonna get it.
It happens. We hold ourselves accountable. Not everybody. There's wild people everywhere, but we try.
Yeah, I dealt with these CEOs a couple of times, man. There's some good ones, and there's some ones that are just. Hey, they're just.
The correction CEO. I forgot what the prison guy. Did you see being in there 16 years? Did you see over the years? I mean, I'm sure you see it revolving door and more new inmates and all that. But did you see it over the years getting worse opposed to better?
1,000,000 times worse. Wow. 1,000,000 times worse. Conversations like this, right? I don't even know you guys. I barely met you guys a few minutes ago, but I can tell you're respectable gentlemen.
Right.
Conversations like this were fewer and fewer. There was more of the wildness.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, worse.
Yeah,
that just goes with life, man. You know, life experiences, man. You get older, you get wiser. They say.
Wiser.
You know, that's what they say. When you're young, you're dumb, full of cum. You know, you want to be the first one and the first one in, the first one out.
Thank you, Stephen. Hector. My bad. Thank you.
But what a crazy topic tonight.
Great.
Like I said, foremost, man, there shouldn't be brutality at all, anyways, or discrimination on both sides. You know, we should respect our first responders because they are here to help us and protect us. Those who cannot be protected, and us as people, we got to learn how to engage with our departments again, fire department, police department. You know, to find some kind of common ground. I'm all for that, man. You know, for the
communities too. Another thing is lost. Not only the police respect and all that, but even as a community, before you get to the police, there's no interaction or conversation or anything with the community. So now neighbors and people don't know each other and don't, you know what I mean? So that's a problem too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's definitely.
Trustworthy. That's the biggest thing. You know, it's just like
just the thing. No one trusts anyone no more. So even your neighbor, you don't want anything to do with them. I don't bother you. You don't bother me.
Yeah,
but we need that though. Sometimes you need some people.
Yeah, you gotta have strings, man. It's like the police telling, well, who can we go to? Somebody on the streets. Well, you know, if you're getting to somebody in prison, it's easy to get somebody who in the streets. That's a challenge because the streets have various territories, various neighborhoods, black, white, you know, Asian. Yeah. So it's a bigger.
Now with this gentrification, and now another thing with gentrification, you have new people moving in people's old neighborhoods, man. Yep. And you know, there's nothing there either respect. And these new people think they can come in and run your neighborhood and do, you know, so it's a lot of like Denise said, lack of.
The world is different now, bro.
It's just what it is.
But you know what's funny about that? Even though the world's different,
it's very different now.
It's the same. You know, you know,
it's
nothing
just,
changes, bro. Everything's still the same.
Just out in the street a little more. That's all.
Yeah, that's it, man. It's just a little faster and a little crazier. That's it. You know?
Right.
But man, great topic, man. Great topic, man. You know,
I love it, man. Great conversation, gentlemen.
Yeah,
thank you.
Prison guard, you're always welcome, man. Like I said, my name is Big D. I have a channel, Big D Keeping It Real. You're welcome to swing by and you know, I mean,
Nate, can you put everyone's channel in the comment, Nate, if you're still there, please.
Good to meet you guys, man. Thank you.
Yeah, likewise, bro. I'm glad we got you on. Glad Denise hooked us up.
That's right.
And we're gonna do more of this. So I hope we can connect later and try to do this because it's great. I love to have people somewhat on the same level. We don't have to agree on everything, but we all talk with respect. No one's loud and hollering or trying to get extras on. It's just mutual respect and conversation. This is more of what's needed. So I respect everyone on here. I'm glad everyone got a chance to speak tonight.
Thank you guys.
Good one.
Have a good night,
guys, man. Appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir. Good night. Yeah, we'll wrap it up, man. So thanks, SD. I'm always glad when you check in, bro. You need to tap in more with us. It's always good to have you, bro. Much respect.
Yeah.
Check it out. Big D, go ahead and take us out of here, man.
All right, y'all, man. Hopefully, you guys, we got a little bit of wisdom and knowledge, man. We had some participation on both sides of the field, and it's always good that we reconcile and try to make peace, amongst, our communities and respect those, man, who are still serving out there because they do have a challenging job and they do have families and they're just humans just like everybody else. Nobody's perfect, man. But check this out, man. We're going to leave just like the way we came in, excited, ready to go. Let's talk about it, man. We got another one.
Talk about it.
Later. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, share this channel, man, because like I said, it's just a matter of time where we just boom. And then, and right behind the punch, it's Big D Keeping It Real's channel. Boom. Hit that one too. Hey, make sure you guys pray for DD Hairston. Much love, DD. Miss you out there.
Yeah. Shout out to prayers up to DD. Yes.
And respect to everybody else, man, who came along, man. You got the homeboy who came on earlier too. We got Denise Castillo. Thanks for tapping in.
Digital West.
Digital West, man. Appreciate him, man. Like I said, go follow everybody. Check it out. Tell everybody what we're doing, and let's talk about it. We'll see you guys. Boom. Soon.
I can't do what I need to do. But peace and love, everyone. Good night. We'll see you again when Friday. No. We're off this weekend. I forgot to tell everyone we'll be off this weekend. Everyone have a great rest of your week. Happy Valentine's Day, all that good stuff. Ladies, gentlemen, peace, love, respect. Thank you to my partner, Big Love, for holding me down and helping me out tonight. Thank you, baby. Shout out to my sis, Monica, Teresa, Denise Castillo, Lady A, Teresa, Margot, everyone who checked in tonight. I appreciate the love. Shout out again to our special guest, homie Southtown SD, and the prison guard, the prison guy, the homie Hector. Thanks to the homie Steven too as well, and everyone who participated. Have a great week. We're out of here. Peace.